I'm sorry, I broke Tifa this time. Kind of. Not on purpose. Not on purpose.
No, I think we spoke about it more often, that Jack is really bad at massages, and for some reason...
Really bad.
He started to give one while I was playing video games today, like a Jack massage, a shoulder massage. And it's the worst thing ever, and even though it lasted for like 15 seconds, I still feel it.
I've gotten that feedback a lot in my life. So Tifa has treated herself to an early Christmas gift, a Sinterklaas gift, because that's a thing over here in Europe. She bought Diablo 4 for herself, and she's been playing it, she's been enjoying it, and yesterday she finished it. And so today she was playing a bit of
only the main campaign
DLC stuff, and she was having a hard time. So I stood behind her, trying to cheer her up, and I gently placed my hands on her shoulders, and I only really did this with my thumbs.
No, you did not.
I applied no pressure.
Yes, you did, because I still feel it, and I'm quite sure there's a thumb bruise on my back.
I applied no pressure. I did it more as a joke, because I know I'm really bad at this, so I wasn't gonna do it like I mean it. But apparently it was enough to give Tifa a shoulder ache.
That was not a...
It felt like it to me. I've gotten too strong from going to the gym.
That was not at all.
I need to stop going to the gym. I'm becoming a menace.
Like when I move this shoulder, I still feel it, and I feel like I now have to unpop them.
What?
Unpop. You know
what do you mean unpop? There is no puppies in there.
Pop. P-O-P. Pop.
Pop.
Yeah.
Not pop.
Yeah, pop. And it's like massively in the way.
So you're a misogynist? Apparently. I don't know. I guess I am. Meanwhile, happy Sunday everybody. Welcome in Psycho. Congrats on being second. Hello Dark Lord. How are you all doing? I'm good. Tifa is... well, the stage she's in. Jack needs to go fake Swedish massage where it's just tiny karate chops. Lean forward, please. This is on you, Dark Lord. Is this better?
No.
Is it worse?
Doesn't feel nice. I'm quite sure there's a nice way of doing this, but you are not it.
No one is first again. Wait.
Oh no.
Wait.
You can't be first.
Oh my god, Tifa, we are first! Nice! Thank you so much, my favorite letter is X. Huzzah!
We have a first.
Technically, I mean... could we technically not be first to the stream because we're the ones setting up?
Yes, because we've had people in chat before we've started setting up before.
Mm-hmm. True, that has happened once or twice, especially around like daylight savings time. People coming in like, I'm looking forward to the stream. An hour in advance, and I'm like, seeing that half an hour later when I turn on the computer to start setting up, I'm like, hope you realized you were an hour early, thank you, but also sorry for waiting.
That wasn't daylight savings, that was also before special events.
Was it?
Yeah, I remember the messages. Unlike you.
I remember it happening, I don't remember the exact details. I'm sorry. Way to make me look like an unhappy asshole about people being super early. I appreciated that. Why do I need to Why do I feel like I need to apologize?
It's been a while, it's okay.
What are you doing to me?
But the answer is yes, it is possible.
That's why your shoulders hurt. It's not me, it's you.
Yeah, it's really not nice. Anyway, how's everyone weekend's been? This has been, despite having dinner with your family, it was relatively relaxed, I gotta say.
It was as relaxed as it could be. Too short as usual, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, why am I saying yeah? I'm not gonna go to work for another 2 weeks.
For me, it was too short.
The weekend itself is too short, and I'm very much looking forward to not having to go to my day job next week. No, true, we went to an Indian restaurant that we had been to before. I've talked about my dad every now and then on stream. He is a special person. So we go to a restaurant, we all sit down, we get the menus, and he looks at what he wants to eat. As per usual, he gets confused, even though he's been to a place before and he has an inkling of what he wants to eat. It's always like he's seeing the menu or any menu for the first time ever, like the concept of ordering food is new to him. It's not, but that's what it seems like. So he's sitting there looking at the menu. Eventually the waiter comes, asks if we're ready to order. Yes, we order the drinks, and then it's time to order food. I order mine, Tifa goes next, and then it's my dad's turn. And he goes, yeah, I want this soup, and the waiter goes, as a starter, pitching the voice up as with a question mark. And my dad, being himself, just keeps going, yeah, and then this for our grandmother, and then I also want this. So the guy goes...
To be fair, he thought he replied to it.
So then the guy goes, okay, so you want this. Yes. And then he leaves. And then he doesn't come back for a while. And then he brings the main courses. And then 5 minutes after the main courses are there, he brings my dad's starter soup. And my dad is making a whole... He's been worse at this in the past, but he was making sure everybody at the table knew that he was unhappy with this. Eka, when they're gonna bring the soup, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna eat 2 things at once? Where do I put my other food?
He made this whole deal of taking his plate, which already had some of the main course food on it, on the chair at the table next to us.
It
to
was
make
empty.
Space
it wasn't
for
bothering anybody. That needs to be explained. It's still kind of a weird move, but there was space to use.
Even though his reaction there was a bit, yeah, that soup should not have come after the main course or during the main course. Fair is fair.
No, but the waiter even asked as a starter, because nobody else ordered starters.
Well, your dad thought he replied.
He
I
didn't.
Actually thought he replied
He
too.
didn't.
Yes, I know, he didn't. But then that's no reason to then just give it during... If you don't get an answer, then ask again or assume.
He did ask. He was...
Yeah, he asked once.
Ignored.
Not by on purpose. No, that was not okay. His reaction was not okay, but having the soup during the main course was also not good.
This is where you need to decide who is objectively right. Are you on Team Jack or on Team Tifa? I'm saying the waiter asked if it was supposed to be a starter or to be brought with a main courses. My dad didn't reply, so the waiter just had to toss a coin, 50-50. What's he gonna do? It's gonna
no one ever gets soup during the main course. No,
Some people do. Some people
Your
do.
dad's reaction was absolutely over the top. I fully agree with that. He didn't even complain to the waiter.
No, only to us.
It was just annoying for
He
us.
just had to make sure everybody knows he's unhappy with the situation.
But I do agree with him. That soup should not have come during the main course.
The waiter tried. He tried to communicate. My dad doesn't communicate. It happens.
No.
Other than that, it was fine. My dad even made a cake for afterwards, and it was surprisingly edible.
It's hard.
Little bit dry, because instead of just baking it for the time you're supposed to, he made a marble cake. So instead of just baking it until it's done, he left it in the oven for an hour, but then immediately covered it with chocolate, so what little moisture was left got trapped in there by the layer of chocolate. So it was still edible. With a coffee it was nice.
To be fair, I usually order one meal, because pre-soup is something only rich people order. No, understandable, especially if you look at the prices of soups nowadays. Like, well, depending on the restaurant, that can be quite ridiculous. If we go for Indian though, I do like to order like samosas sometimes as a starter. But not when we go with his family, because there's usually cake after. And then it gets a bit too much.
With me, it usually depends on the place and the price, because I feel like it's not worth it. Like bang per buck or bang for the buck. But at the same time, sometimes, only really with Indian food, I do order a starter, because that way, by the time I'm like halfway through my main course, I'm perfectly full. And then I can take half of my main course along for breakfast or lunch the next day. And that way I feel like I'm rewarding myself, because I'm making it so I can have delicious Indian food twice. I know that's not how that works objectively, but that's how it feels. Like, mostly here and less there, but it works. Also, 2 more weeks of work and I got my vacation also. Nice, so you're off over
nice.
holidays. That's something I would like to do as well, but my boss has a policy where she's like, somebody has to be in over the holidays, and she's not wrong. And usually it's me because other people have kids that they want to spend their time with, and we don't really care.
It's a don't really care on one hand. It's really nice to have the time off around Christmas, but purely because of the amount of vacation days you save.
Yeah.
Like now you have like, wait, how do the days fall? You have like 2.5 days?
3 days.
Assuming the 24th is half a day and 25th and 26th are full days off. You, with 2.5 days, you have a full week off.
Yeah, that's efficient.
Which is really nice. But on the other hand, during the holidays, there's no one in. It's super quiet.
Yeah.
You can either get some stuff done that you want to do, or you just do nothing all day because you can't do anything.
But the way it works with us is Tifa's birthday is on the 12th, so usually I try to get that week off to spend some time with her. So we avoid the Christmas rush if we do go somewhere, because then prices suddenly get spiked up. Plus, when we're back over the holidays at work, most people aren't there, and then like Tifa, like what she just described. So it's like, I'm not sad about this arrangement. Do you get extra pay? Yes.
I do not.
I'm off on the 25th and 26th, but the 24th I've got to work, and yeah, there's a bonus. I always forget what or how much. It's not a lot, but it's something.
24 for us is just a half a day, like 8 to 12.
I have to say,
And that's it.
Working on the 24th and 31st is magical to me, because I actually have a reason why I cannot help with setting up for Christmas dinner and New Year's Eve. Because I need to be working. And because I have to. You know, I can't help it. I can't just not work. I need to do it. Like, I don't want to get in trouble at work. Exactly, we smart. What are we doing?
Yeah, and then usually it's
doing?
What are we doing?
I was thinking, what were we doing for New Year's Eve? But we're going to my grandmother. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can help.
Every year.
You can help her. I'll need to be working.
Excuse me?
You can do the groceries with my dad.
You're actually working the 31st?
Yes. It's not a holiday.
I have a feeling...
Like how that confuses her every year.
I gotta work too. I have a feeling all of the groceries will already be done by next week.
Depending on what it is. I don't like bread that's too stale. Like, I'm hardcore. I don't mind bread that isn't super fresh. But
you're not getting bread.
Why not?
It's raclette. Your family doesn't do raclette with bread.
No, but when you do groceries, you get more than just food for one day, no? Also need to do like the weekly groceries, like cereals and stuff. Like I need to eat something during the week.
Well, we'll see how this week will go.
What about French toast?
French toast, nice. I like it.
I don't care for French toast. It's something that has hurt Tifa's feelings many times, Dark Lord. When she's like, oh my god, Jack, I feel like making French toast. Do you want some? And I'm like, no.
I can have a whole loaf by myself.
Jack hates French toast.
Yeah, I know. I have never had like overnight French toast though. I've wanted to make that so often, but then it feels like it's too much.
How is it too much?
For just me. Because you don't really like it.
So, Tifa, where's the difference between you wanting to make overnight French toast and making it soaking it overnight and preparing it, versus you deciding in the morning you went French toast and making it?
Because with overnight French toast, you use more
No, you don't. That is not true.
I feel like that is the case.
No,
like then I want to make a whole loaf.
Yes, exactly. That's because Tifa sees a recipe for a whole loaf of bread and she doesn't do math. So he's like, I need to make a loaf of French toast bread. No, you don't. You really don't.
Maybe I'll treat myself next week and do that.
Also, it's not that I hate it. Like, if I go somewhere and somebody gives me a plate of French toast, I'll happily eat it. if I go to a breakfast place and I order something that comes with French toast, I'll enjoy it.
Happily.
Just not
enjoy
something
it.
I like so much, but I go out of my way to make it for myself. I'm a pancakes person. More of a Pfannkuchen. That's not the word, but yes. Pfannkuchen. Or there's so many words for it. Like leading up to New Year's Eve, there's also like every year when the media has nothing else to write about, they start with articles. In Germany, there's donuts.
Veel donuts.
Berliner, Pfannkuchen, Krapfen, Kreppel, whatever. Depending on where you live, where you're from, you call it a different thing. So Pfannkuchen, pancakes is one of those things. Let me quickly look it up.
Pfannkuchen sounds funnier.
Pfannkuchen sounds funny. It sounds adorable. It sounds adorable.
It's Berliner. It's also a very sensitive topic for a lot of
Yes,
people. There's
people get mad.
always this war going on what you call it.
Yes, and because in some areas it's called a Berliner, that's also why, when JFK back then was like, Ich bin ein Berliner. People were like, he called himself a donut. No, he didn't.
Or double, a Berliner Pfannkuchen.
That is legitimately what a lot of bakeries have started doing to avoid the issues. Unless you go to like southern Germany, a lot of the places now do Berliner Pfannkuchen. That's like pancake hotcake. It's like, it's the same thing.
I don't think they do it to avoid the confrontation.
To avoid the, what do you call them here? Which is something I would do. I just call them Kennedys. Depending on the place, they might not understand that.
Let's not add more to it.
About the pancakes, I do say Pfannkuchen, or now I will say Pfannkuchen because it sounds adorable to me. But depending on where you are in Germany, there are Pfannkuchen, there could also be Eierkuchen, Eierpfannkuchen, Plinsen, Palatschinken if you're from Austria.
Oh, Palatschinken also has marmalade on it, no? Isn't that the whole thing of Palatschinken?
No, that's usually what you order it as over here in Germany, where it's like a whole dish. Tifa, I'm on Wikipedia. You don't need to Google it yourself.
I want to see the Palatschinken page because...
But, weirdly enough, the Swiss people are the weirdos here because they call them omelets. Which is like... An omelette is the thing where you scramble eggs and then it's like... I don't know. The German language is weird, what can I say?
Okay, maybe you're right, but I thought the whole point of a Palatschinken is the fact that it has the thingies in there.
Exactly, Psycho. It must be a thin air. Yeah, it has to be. It's when you live up in the mountains. What are you doing?
My feet are cold and I see my little fox was on the side still.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Now I am ready. Now I have...
And now you moved again. Leave me some space. Thank you. One last thing, ranting about different names for something. A few weeks ago, Tiff and I decided for breakfast, let's go to a bakery and buy some Brötchen, or bread rolls as you would say in English. So we went to this bakery nearby and I have not been there before. And for some reason, at some point in the past, companies, bakeries in Germany must have decided, let's do the thing that like Starbucks and McDonald's do. And instead of giving our products names that people know, we give them like brand names. Because when I went to the lady working there and I told her that I want 2 bread rolls, she looked at me like I was speaking Chinese. She's like, which ones? I'm like, well, the normal ones. And she's like, which one? They're all normal. So
yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you just assume which ones are the normal ones, you have plenty of plain ones. Do you want the Schrippe? Do you want the Stadtkrosse? Do you want the Hinkelberry? Do you want the I Hate Your Dad?
Oh, do you want a Semmel?
Do you want the plain...
Go fuck yourself.
Exactly, like there's a lot.
No, so I told her, I'm sorry, I don't know your vocabulary. I need to look at the nameplates of the bread rolls. And then I had to read them out and they were all like brand names. You know, instead of like a cheeseburger, it's like a quarter pounder with cheese. Something like that. I still don't know what they're called because I just keep reading them off of the nameplates.
Well, how else will they know what you want though?
Well,
they have like 10 different broodjes.
Well, they have more than that. For example, if you want a bread roll with sunflower seeds, usually over here we call it a Sonnenblumenkernbrötchen, bread roll with sunflower seeds. So if I go, I would like one of the bread rolls with sunflower seeds, I would assume they understand what I mean.
If there's only one, yeah, but if there's more, that doesn't work.
But then in a lot of places, when we go like, oh, you mean a Weltmeisterbrötchen, a world champion bread roll, and I'm standing there like, I love sunflower seeds. I think they should be the world champion at flavor or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know. It's like when you go to McDonald's and you don't go, I would like an ice cream with chocolate sauce and the cookie topping. You go, I want a McFlurry.
Oh yeah, because they have different types of ice cream. If you just go, I want ice cream, that doesn't work. Dad? Then they go, which ice cream do you want? Do you want a McSundae? Do you want a McFlurry? Do you want a soft ice? Except
McDonald's only has one type of ice cream. You get a little in a sundae and more in a McFlurry. It's the same thing.
No, the toppings are different.
That's why I just said the ice cream with the 2 toppings. No, you go a McFlurry. And they don't even flurry it anymore either. They don't do the thing anymore. They don't have the machines for it and the staff doesn't do it for you either. So why is it still called McFlurry, huh, McDonald's?
That is true. They used to have this machine where it would where they would shake it up for you, and now it's just they sprinkle it on and that's it.
Which is okay with me, but like
I still love their ice cream.
Jack just points to the pictures and points to his mouth. Huh? 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 And then they actually throw it into my mouth. I'd be okay with it.
Then no wonder why bakeries are dying out. This bullshit right there.
Thank you, Psycho. You understand. Thank you for being on Team Jack on this one. And not Team whatever this is.
I don't usually have the problem. I just point at it and it works.
Fair enough.
Ich möchte den Dinges und den Dingsbums und vielleicht noch eine davon.
In case you're wondering, did this sound like proper German? No, but she gets by. She sounds really cute though.
And they go like, ah, is she a foreigner? Okay, we'll just give her this. We're not gonna ask the name of the broodje.
And when they speak English to her, and then Tifa goes like, why are we speaking English to me? Good enough. Yeah, it's enough to go by, you know. Like I make fun of her, but it works.
I get by well enough.
It's as good as it's better than my Dutch, so I can't complain. One who rests starts to rust. Yeah, but I would like some more complacency when it comes to the naming processes of bread products in Germany. I'm just saying.
Maybe next week when I have home office or work
when you work from home,
you can get us some fresh broodje from the bakery. For breakfast.
Could, if you tell me which ones you want. And I want the brand names. I don't want the generic terms. Like, I want a whole wheat bread roll. No, you need to tell me. I want the Taste Explosion 4000 with wheat flour that's been hand milled by artisanal Italian baking masters.
I want 2 surprise me's.
Yeah. I'll surprise you with 2 empty bags. And then you can watch me eat. You know what is also good enough? Tifa's recaps, hopefully.
Yeah, the last time we played Higurashi, I remember
Tifa, what has happened the last time we played Higurashi when we cried Chapter 3 Tatarigoroshi?
I remember it as if it was Friday, which, funnily enough,
it was.
is the last time we played Higurashi. We were actually back we were at school where we were still recovering from all of the weird stuff happening. We killed Satoko's uncle.
After the murder
everyone
of
said
Teppei,
we were at the festival.
Keiichi had gone to school a little late, but had gone to school, going like, "Hey, now it's a new life. It's all back to normal. It's gonna be great." So he shows up to school, and it's not fine because people suddenly act like he went to the festival with them, but he didn't, and so he has like a whole breakdown about this. So he like tries to get out of his funk. And eventually it's like, "Hey, Satoko, you're still sad." It has to be because she doesn't know her uncle is dead yet, right? Like it takes a few days to kick in, but she's now safe. So after school is over, it's like, "Hey, Satoko, my best friend, let's go do club activities." And then Satoko's like, "I would love to, but I can't." She's still like super down and depressed. And turns out, Teppei ain't dead. He was at home yesterday night.
The entire
and
evening.
Treated her like shit once again.
Turned out Satoko didn't go to the festival. She was on her way, decided to turn back because she was afraid of the repercussions and stayed home with her uncle.
Which went exactly as bad as you would think.
Who we were busy murdering, funnily enough, at the same time, which... who knows where that happened.
Which is weird. So, as we talk about this, and Satoko is close to having another mental breakdown, suddenly our best friends Mion and Reina start acting very weird as well. And then they voluntold us that we are now together going to go look for treasure with Reina because she enjoys that. And Keiichi is going to come along. Keiichi eventually, after being brought near his home, was like, "Sorry, I'm not feeling well. I need to go to the hospital. I need to get this checked out." And Reina is like, "Okay, remember to take papers along that you actually went there because I'll check on that." So we went to the hospital, almost when they were closing, and it was the Irie Clinic. And that name rang a bell, so we went inside. And ta-da! The doctor treating us was Irie, the baseball coach. So he treats us.
Assuming it's his or his family's hospital.
Dr. Irie Sensei, yes. So he started treating us.
He did, and we were like, I should need to tell someone what happened because I'm going insane and feeling like crap and I need to get this out. So we actually start telling Irie Sensei what happened.
Yeah, Keiichi
at the night of the Watanagashi.
Flat out told him, "Hey, first of all, hey, can it be that I can be in two places at the same time? Do you believe there's like clones and stuff?" Yeah, there's a doppelganger from German mythology. One for Germany. But unlikely. I've never heard of anything like that. Irie does believe that for every person in the world, there's two other people somewhere in the world that look the same, but haven't met them yet. But Keiichi eventually breaks and goes like, I killed Teppei yesterday. I can't have been there because like I killed the guy." And
we
Irie
told him all the details. He started asking questions about that and seemed to actually believe us.
And he's thankful for it. He went like, "Thank you." Not as a doctor, but as a person.
So we went through all of it, but we were also like, hey, but it also can't be because apparently he was still alive this morning. So I don't know if I actually killed him. So we go through a bit more of the scenario, and Irie believes as well that he should be dead.
And when Irie goes, "Okay, well, who did you kill? What did the person look like?" So Keiichi starts describing the person, and Irie is like, "So what about the tiger tattoo on his back?" Oh.
We don't actually know.
We don't know about that.
It was then around 6, which is when the hospital closes, and Irie was like, "Hey, let's continue this after. I need to send the staff away, I'll make us some tea and then we can keep talking about this."
And Keiichi, in a wild flight of, "I am perfectly chill, I'm in my zen moment right now," went after him, hid and eavesdropped. Because that's what a well-adjusted, balanced person does.
I don't think he was eavesdropping at first. He went in the hallway.
He needed to pee, then he overheard.
He heard Irie-san talk to his staff that they need to call the police and start putting some sedatives into his tea to knock him out. And then obviously you start eavesdropping because you just hear they're trying to knock you out and report you to the police.
There was also a moment where Tifa got confused about one mountain dog. I still think it was code for an MD, as in a medical doctor, but...
The way you say it now makes no sense in the recap.
It does if you've been here or if you've played Higurashi before.
Regardless, so we start making a plan of escape. Obviously, we go back into our room, we go through the window and start running towards our bike, getting out.
Cycle home like
not
the wind.
Before, by the way, we heard Irie-san got a phone call from Ooishi-san, which he
From
took.
the police.
Important. No, it was Ooishi. It even said Ooishi was there for him. Regardless, that was an important detail because we went home and of course we felt super betrayed by Irie-san. We wish him dead because of all of the things he has done to us.
He will die just like... Oh, also, in the little bit where a person went like, oh, hey, Irie-san, there's a call for you from this Oishi person. Oh, by the way,
sure.
they also found Takano's burnt body.
We also learned that she is dead. We learned that before, by the way. And
Yeah,
then
but
the call came.
now we know, because before that it wasn't a tip.
Yeah, true. So yeah, we have cursed Irie-san to all of the layers of hell. But the thought still is running in our head.
Tiger
Who did
tattoo.
we actually kill?
Tiger tattoo.
Does the one we kill have a tiger tattoo? So we went back home, got our shovel, realized we left the lantern at the scene of the crime.
Yes.
And decided to cycle back there to quickly dig up the body, check out his back, and then bury him again. When we were in the forest, suddenly it was dark and raining once again.
Which is weird for summer.
It was basically the same crappy night as it was when we buried the body, which I wonder if there is a link to that as well, but I'm gonna
We will
on
learn
that.
at some point, I hope.
While we have actually found the place where we dig up the body because we found the lantern, and while digging, all of a sudden we are surrounded by Ooishi and his crew.
It was pitch black when Keiichi started digging, so he turns on the lantern a little bit and then he sees silhouettes around him. And he's like, well, hello silhouettes, I'm gonna keep digging. And suddenly the silhouettes move and it turns out he is surrounded by police. And one of them being Ooishi, and he's doing the whole bad cop thing, like kicking him to the ground and like splashing him with a muddy water, like, keep digging. What are you doing here? Is this one of your hobbies?
At some point they help him dig. They went quite deep to the point where we have found some of the water pipes and there was no body. Which is weird because the body was buried quite
Shallowly.
because we didn't have the time to go that deep. So there is no body now, but there were signs of there having been dug a hole before.
Yes.
Because the ground was soft and when they got deeper it only got harder again.
All they found in the end was a drain pipe.
And obviously it is proof that we have been in the forest because the lantern was there that we left behind. A hole has been dug there.
Where did the duck go?
So it is obviously we or someone has been there and done the things that we believe we did at the Watanagashi with
Allegedly.
the exception of the missing body. Which is still confusing and that's where we started.
Tifa spat a theory like, what if Keiichi did do the thing, but then Takano went back and dug out the body?
It makes the most sense at the moment.
Yeah.
Just the rest around it doesn't make sense yet.
that laughing duck emote is amazing. I've never seen that before. But I love it so much. Ducks are great. Not really, but also yes. Sounds like the enter went around the Ecke.
It doesn't really work, but I'll take it.
Actually it does. Dark Lord is... Dark Lord, do you happen to know German expressions or are you googling them as we go?
What's the German expression?
Jemanden die Ecke bringen, literally translated to bring somebody around the corner, means to murder somebody.
So where's the duck? Oh wait, I said duck. Yeah.
Nice. Didn't put that in with German wisdoms. Then again, murdering people shouldn't be a wisdom.
That's
So, yeah.
also not a odd saying.
No, it's just a phrase that you can use. Yeah. Didn't know it's an idiom. What are you calling me?
None of the German ones are that odd.
Because German, it just makes sense. Anyway, so we are stuck being basically assaulted by Ooishi being the bad cop. We're surrounded by police. Keiichi is on the verge of a breakdown, both mentally probably from all of this, but also physically because he's tired as hell.
And we're all wondering where the body is.
Yes, because apparently it ain't happy. You ready?
Ready.
Click. Who do you think it's gonna be in the end?
As in?
Who did we kill? I still
If
think
we
it was a
even killed
random
anyone.
other person.
Because where is the body?
Or do you think it was like a nightmare kind of thing? Like Keiichi was just imagining all of this?
Well, obviously not, because like I said earlier, there is proof that things have happened here. Like we imagined it. The only thing we're missing is the actual body.
But to be fair, digging...
Sure. But that was a very...
trying to get something off my lip. To be fair, digging around a drain pipe doesn't seem like the weirdest thing to me. Like it's a drain pipe.
Yeah,
every now and then you would check that it can drain properly.
Then why is our lantern there?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's not as much as a nightmare as that we do have proof that we have been there.
Let's find out. Ooishi and the others were muttering to each other. Eventually their conversation ended and Ooishi came towards me. What did he want to say? What did he want to do? I stiffened, tensing up, and then Ooishi just ignored me like I wasn't even there and passed right by me. The other men too, they ignored me and shuffled away. Eventually, there was no longer a sign that anyone was around, and I returned to my quiet world of silhouettes. The only one left there was me. Only the sound of a pouring rain filled up the silence.
Well, that's random.
Were we 3 lines away from the end of the episode?
Well, we couldn't have known.
Yeah, fair. How would we?
But this is so random. Why would they?
Yes!
Why would they just leave?
See? If only it let me go 30 seconds longer last time. Okay.
There's never a good moment to say it.
Yeah, then. It is what it is. I just think it's really funny. They left because we're not doing anything illegal.
Yeah, but technically they have...
No, they have suspicion, but they have no facts. They have no evidence.
They can contain us at least for 24 hours.
Okay, Tifa, an expert on Japanese law in the 1980s. Yes, can they?
That's a question if that counts the same there too.
I don't think this is like America where you get put in jail first and then they ask questions.
Well, let's hope the tips say something about this.
Ghost cops, potentially.
It's perfectly legal to dig holes in the middle of the night.
Understandable. Have a nice day. Yeah, I mean, maybe he's gardening, you know?
Well, obviously, there's no body.
Record of Malice would be a great heavy metal band name.
Kinda, yeah.
Inquiry request.
Okonomiya Police Station Command Center Transmission Recording. June 20, 8 p.m. This is Okonomiya Police Station. We read you loud and clear.
Hello, we'd like to look up a license plate. Hello, we'd like you to look up a license plate for us. Shishibone H-4344.
Sakura? Shishibone H4344. Alright, please give us just a moment to look it up.
Thank you.
Number match. Shishibone.
Yeah, it's hard reading out things.
Shishibone H4344.
Also, Tifa, can you show me where in the body the shishi bone is located? Because I don't speak Japanese, but I'm pretty sure it's shishi bone.
What did I say?
You always say shishi bone.
Oh, well.
And if shishi bone, I don't think we can show it on Twitch.
Owner. Something something.
T-A-K-A...
Doesn't fit.
Don't have ever seen anyone who doesn't call it shishi bone.
Well, bonnet or bone? Because that still says the same thing.
Oh yeah, true. Which one is it, Dark Lord? We need you to tell us now. Is it bonnet or is it bone? Bon. Pronounced like bone. Really? Damn it.
Ah.
Damn it.
There you have it.
My imagine... or bone.
Or like bone. I'll take the first bone.
I guess we're pretty boned, huh?
Address, something something, Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone. Vehicle, make and model, more something. Theft reports, none. Special mentions, nothing of note. Okonomiya Security Police to Oishi, we found the license plate from earlier. Oishi, do you read? Ooishi, please respond. Am I getting a bad signal? Anyone in Ooishi's car, please read. Nothing, huh?
Ooishi-san wanted a license plate check? Whose car was it?
Someone from the village. A completely average car. Aren't all cars average? And how do you know if you only get the license plate?
Not all cars are average. Do you know sometimes bad people come to your village in a black car?
in a place where no one has a black car.
It's one of those big black luxurious cars. Like the foreigners drive. But usually they only do that on the day when the snow turned to rain. If you know, you know. If there's a dent or it's registered to a known criminal. Yes, not every car is average in the police's eyes.
Yeah, but if you go like, oh, you wanted to check on a car, why? And you go like, well, it's just an average car.
Yes, but you don't know that until you check the license plate and the details. We call it a limousine.
It just seems like an odd answer. Because obviously there was something with it.
Who was it? If Ooishi-san was asking, then it can't be anyone good, right?
The special mentions column is completely blank. No indication it's related to the S group either. And no demerits on it.
I think it's a demerit. Demerit sounds like something you watch falling from the sky.
Sounds like it makes sense.
Oh look, it's an asteroid. No, it's a demerit. Demerit.
Now it's not anymore.
Maybe we passed him on the road and he got mad. But guy isn't the type to forget a grudge. Okay, this was super not helpful as a tip. I'm guessing he found the car of Takano-san. And as he was waiting for the license plate matchup thing to come back, he went to investigate, and that's why he didn't respond to the call back anymore.
I guess, but where would he have seen or found the car?
But maybe we'll know in the morning. Oh, what we in America call points on your license. You have a similar system. Over here we have two. Everybody who has a driver's license in Germany knows this city way up north at the Danish border called Flensburg, because that's where the register is. So when people go, oh, I have 3 points in Flensburg, that means they did something that earned them 3 demerits or 3 points on their license. And I think if you have like 6 or 7, then you temporarily lose your license and you need to like get retested. I have no idea.
I don't have a license, so.
I do have a record of Mel as well.
He said it smelled. He said the food smelled. He said it smelled because I smelled. I think that is...
Do that again, but...
It's fine, I'll do it from here.
Right.
He said I smelled because I don't take baths. He said to take a bath 3 times a day because I was a smelly person.
Isn't 3 baths a day really bad for your skin, usually?
Yeah, but that's not the point here. He said I had to stay in the bath for a long time every time. He must be possessed by something too. Is this the same thing the man who died said? It's not Satako. why does he know what the man said before? That much is obvious. The same thing that possessed that man is now possessing him. Can't a sudden earthquake make a big hole in front of the house? If it did, he would definitely go and look into it. And then I just have to push him in. I won't give in until I get that chance. I won't give in, I won't cry. I won't give in, I won't cry. Someone is apologizing again. Satoko's brother?
What? There could be so many people this fits.
Hard to say.
This could also have been Satori? Her brother.
Yeah, could have been.
And bad for your electric bill or your gas bill, yeah. I don't know, 3 baths a day. My Satoshi. Thank you, that's what it was. I think like with 3 baths a day, my skin would fall off. Ready for chapter 12?
Yeah.
No. I just want answers at this point. The body wasn't there. The police didn't arrest me because of that, but I didn't know whether to feel happy about it. Just like Satoko had said, I failed to kill her uncle. The body wasn't there, so I was forced to conclude as much, no matter what strange natural disaster, coincidence, or miracle it might have implied. In order to free Satoko, I became a demon. And this abnormal world was my reward. Yes, metaphorically, I had fallen into the demon world. But if that price had been in exchange for the life of Satoko's uncle, then that would have been fine. Since Satoko's uncle was still alive, still shackling her to him, I needed to become a demon once again. One more time. No, as many times as it took. I would kill that man over and over again until Satoko was liberated.
I mean, going that way makes sense. But what the fuck happened?
Oh, a bath so luxurious your skin comes off? Yeah, doesn't that dry out your skin? I mean, depends on the soap, I guess. But I imagine if somebody tells you smell that bad, you need to take 3 baths. It's not just water you lay in. But
It's not that good for you now.
I had already awoken. I looked at the clock to see that it was early in the morning at just about 5. It was already light outside. And once I hardened my resolve to become a demon again, I could feel my whole body teeming with the awakened power once more. Time wasn't an issue. No matter what, I'd do it. I got myself up. The exhaustion from the past 2 days was completely swept away and I didn't even feel sleepy anymore either. I slowly rose and made sure my body was moving like I wanted it to. I could feel blood flowing through each and every one of my fingers. As I got dressed, I let my mind wander and had a strange thought. These 2 days, well, I've said it was for Satoko's sake, the only thing on my mind has been killing. I've said it was for Satoko, but while actually carrying out the act, I had completely forgotten about Satoko, albeit only temporarily. Maybe initially it was for Satoko's sake. But now I was just a demon killing for the sake of killing. And as a result, I'd sunk into a world fit for such a demon. Maybe it was the same for Satoshi. He resolved himself to kill us on to save Satoko, became a demon, then disappeared from the sunlit Hinamizawa, vanishing into the demon world.
Could have just stayed there.
Which meant that after all was said and done, I'd met the same fate as him. I tried to avoid making the same mistakes, but it happened anyway. Which meant that maybe Satoshi was here. Satoshi had come to this world a year before me, so he would be here somewhere. Let's check that locker again in the school. Maybe instead of a bat, there's a Satoshi in there. Just a tiny one.
But still, it's so odd. Like I
Everything is weird.
understand the fact that we would now just go like, okay, I'll just kill him again. But why aren't we more stuck on...
Because it doesn't matter.
Well, it kind of does.
No, Tifa, the problem is Satoko is sad. Why is Satoko sad? Satoko is sad because she's being abused. Why is Satoko being abused? Because Teppei is a piece of shit. Is Teppei dead? No, so Teppei needs to die. There.
Yeah, but the fact that we just gloss over everything that has happened also seems like we're losing grip of reality.
It doesn't matter who else dies. Teppei needs to die.
It's not about the fact that someone else might have died, it's about the fact that there is someone apparently like us, which we believe, that we did kill someone who is now missing.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Satoko is suffering because Teppei is alive, so Teppei must die.
Yeah, but there's more to it.
No, Teppei must
more to it,
die.
I'm telling you.
And if there's 60 Keiichi Maebara suddenly walking around, Teppei must die. There is no other thought left in that brain.
Yeah, but there's more to what's going on.
Of course there is, but it's not like Keiichi is still capable of understanding that. I think he's so far gone, like the only thing that matters now is I need to kill Teppei. Also, why is it Christmas suddenly? I thought it's summer.
Christmas? What do you get
You don't
to
hear
Christmas?
this. You don't hear this.
It doesn't even sound close to Christmas sounds.
I feel like I'm about to get presents.
We've heard the bell sound more often.
That's not a bell. That's like a ding 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 ding.
Aren't those not bells?
Yeah, but it's like specifically Christmas bells.
These are not.
Santa bringing the coal for Teppei.
These are not Christmas bells.
Tifa, everybody hears the Christmas in the... It's sleigh bells. Yes, basically.
These are no.
Or, in Keiichi's case, sleigh bells.
Disagree. But yeah, we won't have space for all that coal we're getting this time.
Then, surprised, I stopped walking. There was the second set of footsteps I'd grown so used to hearing. Are you okay?
No.
Fix it then.
Yeah, it's thanks to you.
Who am I? Charades, people. Who am I?
That went all the way through my neck.
I touched your shoulder blades. I was waiting for her to just collapse. She was down to 1 HP. Could you be Satoshi? The empty, lifeless air wouldn't give me an answer. But I felt a strange kind of relief that there was someone there, that Satoshi had stuck with me the whole time. Let's go, Satoshi. Once more. This time we will set Satoko free for sure. I quietly slipped out of the house so my parents wouldn't notice. If they caught me now, when I'd been out way too late for 2 days now, they'd give me a really angry talking to. I didn't have the time to allow for that to happen. Today, I would put an end to it. If a dead body disappeared, then I didn't have to bury it. I could just burn it to ashes and then take them with me so I could kill him again every time he resurrected. I'd do it again. I'd kill him again. And this time, I'd set her free. Outside, the morning light was so beautiful as to stagger belief. I went to the storage room to find weapons with which I could kill him for sure. Blunt or not, it didn't matter to me. Right now, I didn't need to care whether someone saw or if the police came. This world had gone crazy after all. A world where I'd shown up at the festival and had fun even though I wasn't there. Even if the police arrested me, I'd probably end up going right back home as if nothing had happened. Both me and that other Keiichi Maebara. Even without me, he'd fill in. I could vanish from Hinamizawa without anyone noticing. So basically, I didn't care if I was mistakenly killed. Even if I died, Keiichi Maebara would remain. After all, this isn't the world I belong in. If I was going to be killed mistakenly for Satoko's sake, then that was just part of my duty as her nini. As those desperate thoughts became serious, the morning air felt more refreshing to me, strangely enough. Oh, this one's scary. Let's go with this. It was a hatchet meant for chopping thick firewood. Its hefty steel blade was sinister, almost as though it was a tool meant for killing people. Now we became the Pyramid Head.
This was the OG story.
Yeah. Are big hatchets really a thing to chop firewood? Because I've only ever seen people use hand axes. You know, the like this size roughly, where they go chop, chop. I've never seen anything else.
That's what he got.
But he said hatchet. A hatchet is not an axe. A hatchet has a long blade. It's like a sword. I don't think... A billhook. That sounds like a bird to me. Tifa, what's a billhook?
I have no clue. What is actually... Yeah, people wouldn't know the difference, I think. A hatchet has a smaller axe head and the hand axe has a regular axe head. People won't know the difference if you do not know. I'm quite sure if we would see a hatchet or a hand axe, we wouldn't see the difference. And I'm pretty sure Keiichi doesn't know either.
Never used one to this fell a tree. a tree is a body as well.
So I want to say it is a hand axe.
I think in the translation they just called a hatchet. Alright, fair enough.
Yeah. To the untrained eye, I doubt you really know that big of a difference. Okay. To me, it's all an axe too.
I really thought a hatchet has a bigger blade, but oh well. Or maybe I'm confusing it with a machete. Yeah, that's like a sword. Yeah. It's a thing they use to hack away at the jungle when they go on expeditions in movies.
But that doesn't really come close to an axe.
No, but machete, hatchet, there's an A in it, a shed sound, and it's close enough to confuse me.
Fair enough.
As everything around us is creaking. Shit's cursed. I couldn't exactly take it out in public like that, so I wrapped it a little in some old newspaper and tossed it into the basket of my bike. There's an X-shaped package in your basket. What could it be? Bread? Cake? Sorry for using you for evil all the time. I'll need you again today, my legs. I apologize to my bike for some reason. For the past 3 days, I've only used it for dangerous things. I've been riding this bike ever since I lived in my old town. I could walk most places I wanted to go, so I hadn't used it all that much. My mom had bought it for me when I entered cram school, thinking it would be a convenient way to get to the station since it was far away. So I always used it to get back and forth from cram school. Why is the music so like...
It's nostalgia.
Yeah, like the hero is leaving his childhood village on an epic adventure.
Because that's what we're talking about.
In a way, I guess. I'd only ever put textbooks and class materials in the front basket too. I'd never tried to put a hatchet that I'd be using to kill someone in there.
Also, are we now just gonna cycle to his home and dismember?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the plan is grab the hatchet, cycle there, like, and then go like, tepe, smack.
Okay. He's underage anyway, he'll get out in a year.
I don't know if it works the same in Japan. But imagine, like, you open the door and suddenly this 15-year-old weird kid just plants a hatchet straight between your eyes.
I'd rather not.
I mean, tepe is a piece of shit, but still, that's fucked up. When I came to Hinamizawa, life finally felt fun. I met the best friends ever and had some of the greatest times ever. Those times might have been shattered now, but it was my greatest wish that I could get them back, even if I had to risk my life to do it. That's how fun those times had been. I killed someone. And now I was at it again, needing to kill someone. Murder was a crime. I didn't believe that people should ever think murder was okay. But still, the times I'd had were enjoyable enough for me to commit such a crime. My friends were irreplaceable and the time spent with them a treasure. Hanging out, laughing, sometimes tricking each other, but always in a friendly way. I didn't fear committing any crime as long as it was for the sake of taking back those times that gave my heart so much pleasure. Yes, this was a value I'd decided to uphold. It wasn't something I learned from a school teacher. It was a noble path that I chose for myself. I thought back to when I'd first come to Hinamizawa.
A billhook is usually sharper since it's used to cut wood. I think I know what that is. Isn't that when you already have cut it and you need to like rip it?
The key is you press it into the wood and then lift the wood with the to tap it in. Oh yeah, I've seen that before, I think. Never done that myself.
We never have to.
Yeah.
What do you need to chop wood for?
To feel like a lumberjack. Have you never seen people like chop wood and thought, I want to do that?
No, but we go axe throwing.
That's a horrible idea. Because I'm bad at throwing, you're bad at aiming.
Maybe I'm a natural at axe throwing.
I doubt that. I very much doubt that. You have to split wood to make it easier to burn.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't have to.
Yeah, that's not a thing over
Okay.
in Germany. I want to say most people don't have like wood fire stoves anymore. Very few people. I feel like if people do nowadays, it's like a rich people thing. There aren't Saxons.
Yeah,
Even
like
they don't have those anymore, I think.
Or like vacation homes. You know, these little bungalows.
Again, if you have vacation home money, then you're proving my point. About how on the very first day Satoko had welcomed me via a blackboard eraser with a rock in it. That welcome really surprised the heck out of me. She would laugh, get angry, cry. She was never boring. She was obviously the most childlike one among us, but she was actually lively, full of vim and vigor, and good at meddling in other people's business. Among us. That went for Mion, Reina, and Rika-chan too. Wasn't Satoko the one at the center of everyone's laughing and banter? Satoko would try to look cool. Then Mion would make fun of her endlessly. Then Satoko would cry, which would put Reina in a state of ecstasy. Rika-chan would be greatly delighted. And I happened to get mixed up in it. We would always fool around like that. It was lonely when someone wasn't around, but if I had to name one for whom it was the worst, it would have been Satoko. Her smile was everyone's smile. Ever since she stopped smiling, so did the rest of us. And for the rest of us, not smiling was the same as dying. It was just like when I was silently going to cram school every day just to maintain my unchanging test scores. So basically, we were nothing when she wasn't smiling. She was full of hot air, but she was our princess, cute and unhateable. In that case, I was her knight, searching for the dragon's castle in order to win her smile back. Knights, of course, use swords. Awesome two-handed kind. I'm probably the only knight in the history of the world to be taking someone on with a thick, rusty hatchet.
He can be... What's the class that usually uses an axe? A marauder?
A marauder from Final Fantasy XIV.
They use an axe,
Yeah.
no? Or more like a... What do you call it? Mallet? No.
An axe. Two-handed weapons, usually axes.
He can be that.
Sure, doesn't seem weird at all for a 15-year-old to cycle through town and go, I'm a marauder now.
Not really.
Yes, it does. Sounds kind of clingy, Keiichi. Doesn't everybody want a clingy friend, though? Until it gets too much and then it gets really annoying. But
You're my clingy friend.
I am. I own that. I am clingy as fuck. You know, sometimes you go somewhere and there's this weird smell that lingers in the air, and then after a whole day you come home and you can still smell it on your jacket. I'm that smell.
But in a good way.
Am I wrong? Am I lying? That's a no. And I saw an old person in the ridge of a field waving to me.
Oh my, Keiichi-kun. Out for a morning ride, I see.
Sounds like you need to bathe more. Does 3 times a day sound about right? I could try it. Good morning! I reflexively waved back in a refreshing way.
Why would you say refreshing? Just,
Yeah, like, good morning! Yeah, like you really mean it. Should I really have been feeling so happy waving like that? Satoko's house would be right past this road, going beyond the rice paddies. The cicadas had woken up too, and the next thing I knew, I was the audience to their daily chorus. I gave myself a hit or two in the head and drove away my merry morning mood. Let me start over. I gave myself a hit or two in the head and drove away my merry morning mood. Took a deep breath, then tilted my head back, quelling my pointless excitement. The body wasn't there. Its absence either meant my killing him had been an illusion, or that I'd killed him and he'd risen from the dead.
or Takano moved the body.
If I was at the festival, then maybe I should have considered it an illusion. Coach probably thought that way, which is why he treated me like a lunatic. But it being an illusion was just impossible. I killed him without a doubt. Without a doubt. If that had been an illusion, then that would make all of this Hinamizawa I was in right now an illusion. If that was the case, then here's how it would end up. I was actually in a vegetative state due to a traffic accident, and I was currently dreaming in a hospital bed about how great it would be to spend time with friends and rice paddies like these. That was a terrifying thought, though. If this wasn't an illusion, then the only possible answer was that he'd resurrected. It would make him a literal monster.
Or Jesus.
And then it turns out that Higurashi is actually like, what do you call it when you, fanfiction. That Keiichi is the Antichrist, yeah, and Higurashi is actually a fanfic of the Bible, and Teppei somehow is Jesus. Imagine.
That would be really sad.
The Higurashi, they knock your koroni. They really did that. But if he was such a monster, then I was no less than a monster myself. I didn't hesitate to kill someone, and I could even wield curses. Takano-san had died probably because I'd cursed her. Or maybe that was a little much. If Coach Inuishi died too, like I'd cursed him too yesterday, then I'd believe it.
Well, it could be arranged. Wanna take a short break before we go kill Teppei? Get some warm-ups before we swing that axe?
I'm okay with that, but I'll try to give you another massage to fix whatever is happening to you.
I really need to stretch for a moment.
Get your stretches in, people. We're about to kill the uncle. Again.
I guess.
Maybe.
BRB.
BRB.
We're back.
You all ready for Keiichi to ask Teppei a question?
Cold.
You good?
Yeah, it's the pre-murder shivers.
Oh no. Tifa's nerves are getting to her.
Go for it.
I set my bicycle aside and went to take a look. His motorbike wasn't here. Of course it wasn't. I sent it down to a hell that night, throwing it into the Onigafuchi swamp. Or maybe, just like how the corpse wasn't here, maybe the motorbike didn't get thrown into the swamp either. The fact his bike wasn't here might have been because he had gone to town and hadn't come back, not necessarily because I'd thrown it into the swamp. If her uncle wasn't around when that was convenient on its own, then I would just show myself in, then wait for him to return sharpening my hatchet. Just sitting in the corner with a whetstone like...
You should do that before.
Yeah.
I would try and chip it.
I feel like beheading somebody with a rusty hatchet is the bigger move. Like you didn't even try to make it a clean cut.
I mean, if you really hate them, you take the rusty tools.
Yeah. If he was there. Forgotten sensations came back to my gut.
That will not be quick. And the rusty hatchet might get stuck.
Yeah, but that's half the fun.
Well, depending on where it gets stuck, it will be enough to kill.
Like, there is something to be said, like when you watch one of those animes or like samurai movies, you know, where the two samurais are like, they stand across from each other on the battlefield and then they like do this like the click and then they run towards each other and then they go swing and then they run past each other fully and they both stand there. And then
one to fall down.
And then one of them falls to their like knees and then just dies. There is something about the precision of a clean, singular killing blow. But at the same time, I want to say, if you're so beyond rational thought that you wake up, you go to your tool shed, you grab a hatchet, and you cycle over to the guy's house to murder him, a rusty hatchet, and just going...
I think it's fine for a 15-year-old to not know how to make a clean killing cut.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know either. It's very overplayed nowadays, unfortunately. Yeah, you need to use it in moderation, otherwise it just gets too much.
Just a...
Yeah, watch
and
your
they slice and off.
Yeah. This was like short. I think it's definitely on TikTok. It's done on YouTube as well, where they stand there with like a katana and then they're like, and in front of them they have like a melon or an orange or something, and then there's a person like, and then the fruit just falls into like tiny pieces. Like that.
I can appreciate those videos. It's
just
cut well.
With Tepe's head. And it's less of a... more like a... or a weak person is about to be struck down by a villain or monster and the hero jumps in the last second. Yeah, but that's cool. That's just...
That's for the extra drama and suspense.
Yeah, that just shows you one character is like weak or weakened and then the other person like, bam, saved you. You know? Tropes start somewhere.
Yeah, where the weak person feels like they're about to die. Life flashes before them and suddenly a hero.
And then the thing that flashes before them is the hero's blade as it cuts cleanly through the enemy. Not if it happens like 3 or 4 times an hour. Yeah, then it's overused. Fair. A feeling of tension rose within me. The sensation was like poison dulling my actions, but it could also be the trigger to allow me to awaken to my superhuman, otherworldly self. You good?
I felt the sensation.
Yeah, I hear your sensation. Don't know if a microphone picks that up. Wait, I want to try something. Just a random Xbox controller. Because every time you hold that, you yawn less. I want to see if it's like a psychological thing with you. I held the hatchet, still wrapped in newspaper. Its weight in my hand was profound, sinister, and reliable. I hadn't put on my watch, so I didn't know what time it was, but it was probably still a little before 7. Satoko would probably be awake, preparing breakfast and her lunch. But her uncle would probably still be lazing around in bed. A guy like him probably would have stayed up late drinking and probably always slept until noon. I considered ringing the doorbell and having Satoko open the door for me, but if her uncle woke up at the sound, I'd waste my chance of him still being asleep. If Satoko saw me sneaking inside without ringing the doorbell, she'd be surprised. If I ran into her, what would I say? I've come to kill your uncle for you, so stay quiet. No, I couldn't do that. That'd be like making Satoko responsible for his death. Be quiet and go wait outside. Maybe that would do it. How would Satoko react to that? She would probably try and get me to give up on killing him. I would have to lie somehow to get her to go outside. Satoko didn't need to know a murder was going to occur in his house. I saw squirrels outside. Won't work on Tifa.
Probably, yes.
Move, bitch! Get out the way! Get out the way, bitch! Get.
I got an hexagram for Tepe.
A hatchetogram.
It's a singing one, and I have to deliver it in person.
How does the song go? Knees, head, shoulder, and my toes.
Head, hoofd, schouders, knieën, teen.
How does it go in English?
Shoulders,
Knees and toes.
Knees and toes.
Yeah, but with a hatchet. Head, shoulder, knees and toes, knees and toes. Just chop.
I will kill you before you can blink. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. No?
Tifa with a singing kilogram. Beautiful, yeah.
Going to bury the hatchet, yeah.
Afterwards, not yet.
Afterwards.
I couldn't quite think of a good lie to tell her, but I couldn't do much just standing around like this.
I like how I actually started pressing A on the controller to move the
And you haven't yawned since.
No, I have.
Not what I saw.
Wait.
This is now a 2-player game. Beautiful. The first multiplayer visual novel. We're just stretching out the murder. I made up my mind and grabbed the doorknob. Then slowly turned it and pulled. It wasn't locked. The gap between the door and the wall steadily grew larger. The chain wasn't even on. The oppressive smell of life in Satoko's house hit me. At the entrance, there were a few pairs of shoes and sandals. I couldn't tell whether he was here or not just by looking at them. I could hear television on somewhere. The television was in the messy dining room. There was food scattered about the table, giving an impression decidedly different from a happy family's mealtime. Meals were for eating food while thanking the person for making it, meaning whatever occurred in this dining room wasn't a meal. Nobody inside. No sign of anyone either. But with the television on, he must have been close. Could he have anticipated my coming and be hiding, waiting for me? The tension I felt was so thick, so tight that I thought it would choke me. The newspaper wrapping the hatchet's thick blade didn't hamper its power at all. I tightened my grip on it, then very carefully took a look around. Where had those peaceful feelings from before I arrived had gone? Even the sound of sweat bubbling up on my brow got on my nerves.
The sound of sweat bubbling on your brow.
If you can hear yourself sweating, you need help.
If you can actually hear that, it would be so creepy. I wonder what that would sound like. Like the sound of breaking skin? No, it's not really breaking skin.
It's the sound of liquid collecting.
Like a squishy sound.
No. It's the sound rain makes on a window as a droplet goes down and forms a larger pool with other droplets. Oh, that's deep. I'm gonna steal that line for later. And then I looked at the table and realized something. This wasn't breakfast. The grains of boiled rice were all hard and dried up. Then was it last night's dinner? I left the dining room keeping vigilant, went down the hallway and found the stairs to the second floor.
What if Satoko was lying that her uncle was there?
Could be. What if we now come in and Satoko has killed the uncle? I wouldn't be shocked about that. It's a matter of time until like something happens in this household.
It's like a pitcher pouring. No, that's too loud, I would say.
Yes, but quieter.
Softer, yeah.
When the man was playing with his friends, he looked out of a second-story window. It was highly possible that the room was his own and that he slept there. I tiptoed up the edges of the stairs, quietly climbing without making a sound. I couldn't hear any kind of snoring. I didn't hear anything up there. I went through a few rooms, slowly and quietly opening the paper doors, checking inside. I still couldn't find anyone around. To search more efficiently, I got down on the floor and pressed my ear right up to it. I could hear the television in the dining room and a low hum, perhaps of boiling water. It was then that I started to harbor some feelings of suspicion. This house wasn't right. It seemed like people had been here since the TV was on, but it wasn't normal for nobody to be around this early in the morning. I silently descended the stairs and went back into the dining room. I looked at the food scattered about. Completely dried up rice. An overturned bowl of miso soup. The package for a side dish bought at the supermarket. I could have Satoko had definitely been the one who made this. The food was far from Mion's perfection or Reina's gentleness, but it was sincere. How can you look at a dried up piece of rice and go, that person cooked it?
Because of the effort and the way the plating was done, maybe.
I guess there's more details than I just remembered, but judging by how she cooked for me at my house and from the type and amount of side dishes, I deduced the meal was from last night. The number stepped onto the food package read 830620. June 20, 1983. That was yesterday. And there was food for two, which meant that this was last night's dinner and Satoko's uncle would have been here then. Stop it, Keiichi. Don't even think about saying the word impossible again.
Oh wait, another day has passed, so last night was the day after the festival when... Yeah.
Anyway, her uncle was here last night. That much was the truth. He had found fault with Satoko's food, thrown the bowl of miso soup and flung the rest everywhere. Hidden deep within my feelings of calm and composure was lit a flame of anger and a curse. Should I have ever shown this man any mercy?
Bump.
I heard the sound again, the one from before, like a water boiler. What was it coming from? The first floor. But where? The bathroom, maybe? I could hear the noise coming from the other side of the frosted glass at the far end of the changing room. It had to have been the sound of a water boiler for the bath. Steam was enshrouding the glass door, and the heat from it was leaking into the changing room where I was standing too. My misgivings deepened. People didn't normally take a bath this early in the morning. If one did, then it would mean that in this house, time had been stopped ever since some moment last night.
I can't whistle.
Was it being reheated? The water boiler in the bathroom had been active this whole time. I checked in a clothing basket and saw Satoko's familiar uniform stuffed in it. The uniform had stains and dried rice stuck to it, certainly not something she could wear today. It was probably from the miso soup at the dinner table yesterday. I looked hard at the frosted glass, but I couldn't see anything through all the steam. It's Satoko taking a bath. The thing you read earlier during the tip was from Satoko's perspective. She's taking a bath right now.
Yeah, okay, but what's the premonition that we're having now? And why is it a problem?
And then an electric surge ran through my mind and a terrible premonition came over me. Could she? She couldn't possibly have been in there since last night. That would be impossible.
Do they have, like, heated bathtubs? Because otherwise, if she's been there since last night, there wouldn't be steam.
I don't know. But no. In Hinamizawa, right now, nothing was impossible. I gulped audibly, then quietly pulled aside the glass door. Hot, steaming air burst out of a slight opening. The fan wasn't on in the changing room, so it went completely white with the steam. Just as the hot vapor poured into the changing room, cooler air also flowed into the room with the bath. And I just heard, due to being hit by that air, a very weak moan. That was all I needed to know who it was. Satoko! No answer. Satoko was in the bathtub, surrounded by a thick layer of rising steam. The top half of her body was leaning over the edge of the tub, and she was passed out. The water boiler kept on making a whistling noise as if angered. I could see the gas flame through a small window. It was roaring at full force, completely blue. Satoko's entire body was boiled red and flaccid as though her bones had melted away. She was almost like a doll as she laid there unconscious. I wasn't sure how many seconds passed as I stared in complete bafflement. I came back to my senses and promptly shut off the boiler. Then I dragged Satoko's small body out of the bathtub. The water in it was as hot as the water in public baths. Was she in this boiling water for the entire night? She'll die! She'll die! Satoko's body was lighter than I'd expected as I laid her on the floor and wrapped her in a towel. I went back into the bathroom and opened up the vent, creating a path for a cool breeze to come through. Upon the breeze hitting her, Satoko moaned again. "It'll be alright, Satoko. It's me, Keiichi. Do you understand? Can you hear me?"
Keiichi-san.
Satoko recognized me and muttered a response, but I couldn't really tell what she was saying. Her eyes were muddy and unfocused. I could tell she wasn't completely conscious. Upon closer inspection, her limbs and waist were twitching slightly. This was way worse than normal overheating. This was dangerous. Didn't they call this heat stroke? Think, what would the teacher do if a girl passed out in the middle of summer during a marathon in gym class or something? I turned the water faucet in the kitchen all the way on and soaked a towel in it. Then took the cold towel and pressed it to Satoko's forehead. Satoko reacted harshly to the coldness and let out a muffled voice. For burns, right, you would soak the burn spot under running water? Then could I run cold water into the shower and cool her off like that? No, if it was that sudden, it wouldn't be good for her heart and she'd go into shock. I think I read that once before. This was about as much nursing as I could possibly give her. Anything more than this would be too much for the likes of an amateur. What happened, Satoko? You're alright now. Yunini will save you for sure.
5,039. 5,040.
5,039.
I wouldn't think she's counting.
She is. What did he do? Tell her to get into the hot bathtub? Because she stinks, and to count to what? 6,000?
How many minutes or so?
Because assuming that she counts 1 per second, that's 100 minutes. That's an hour 40.
Well, then she hasn't been in there all night.
Yeah, but too long anyway. What was Satoko reciting under her breath? I brought my ear to her mouth to better make out the mysterious spell-like words she kept saying. And at that moment, I understood what they were for. Satoko, you're counting. Why? People tell little kids in the bath to count to 100 a lot. right?
So counting to 100 is a tactic to get children to take a bath if they can't read a clock. That sounds odd.
If that's ever been done with me as a kid, I don't recall. Never heard of that before either.
So
Satoko was counting like that. But 5,039! You moron! How long were you supposed to count in your own bathtub?
10,000.
I doubted my ears and doubted her common sense. 10,000! You're a freaking idiot! What kind of dumbass can count to 10,000? There's no way you could do that! You'd ball to death before you got that far! Why were you...
My uncle.
This is why I'm happy it's a rusty hatchet. Things like this. Or you need to take a bath for this long. Yeah, if you have a kid that really doesn't want to take a bath and you try to make it like bearable. You know.
I guess.
I never had that problem, I always liked taking baths. 10,000 would be around 3 hours. Yeah.
Just get some bath toys in it.
I had like a little fake Game Boy kind of thing. It had like, it was like the size and shape of a Game Boy with like buttons. Only like one really. And in it was some water with like floaty things. So every time you pressed a button, it would like suck in some air and like bubbles would appear and then the things would float around. It's like,
See, keeps you busy.
yeah, but not like this. Last night, her uncle flew into a rage at the dinner she'd made, saying it stunk and was inedible. Satoko didn't understand what on earth he meant. It wasn't much different than what she usually made for him. Maybe he hated the smell of the pickled vegetables she'd bought in particular. Her uncle then decided the stink was originating from Satoko and shouted at her that she never ever took baths. And then he put Satoko in the boiling water and told her not to come out until she counted to... I'll kill you! I snapped and exploded. Raising the newspaper-wrapped hatchet, I stampeded through the house. I searched for anything, traces, signs, smells, vibrations, heartbeats. With a war cry, I raced up the stairs with such force I could have stomped a hole through them. When I found a futon in the room I thought to be her uncle's, and well aware he wasn't sleeping in it, I bashed it with a hatchet. Did he run into the closet? I burst the entire closet down, door and all. And if he's not there, maybe there's a secret door. Any switches or levers in the walls here? Smashed into wall after wall with the hatchet, crushing them. Dust rose into the air and broken pieces scattered about the floor. Smashed all the glass windows too for good measure. After I destroyed everything beyond recognition in her uncle's room, my reason finally kicked in and suppressed my emotions. Anyway, her uncle wasn't in this house right now. I'd have to leave killing him until later. Right now, I had to do something about Satoko. I went back to the changing room. Satoko was still lying limp on the floor. There was nothing more an amateur like me could do for her. I needed to take her to the clinic. Coach had treated me like a lunatic yesterday and tried to lock me up in a mental hospital. I never wanted to see his damn face again, but I still needed to go to the infirmary one more time.
How's he planning on bringing Satoko?
On his bike.
In the basket?
She is small. I needed to have a doctor look at Satoko. I thought about putting her in the dirty uniform laying in the laundry basket, but I had no experience dressing someone, so it would be pretty difficult. Shit, I don't have time to be wasting here. I eventually gave up on clothing and decided to carry her in a bath towel. The clinic was close to Satoko's house. It would be way faster to carry her there than to call 119 and get an ambulance. I threw the biggest towel I could find over her and prompted her to stand.
You can call the fucking ambulance, Keiichi. Never mind. Well, if it really is like down the road, that is definitely going to be faster.
Can you stand? I'll carry you over to the clinic.
Thank you.
Her words sounded clearer than before. She was starting to come back. I cried tears of relief just knowing she'd improved even a little bit. Satoko turned over so she was lying on her face and then put up a weak struggle to get up on her knee. I smoothly swept her up and put her on my back. The towel I put on her seemed like it was about to fall off.
The towel, it hurts.
We'll be there soon. It won't be long, so stay strong. Didn't hurt one bit to carry Satoko. She was light, too light. The lightness actually made me uneasy. Outside it had gotten hotter, as though eager to attack Satoko. Fucking cicadas. Why did it have to choose this morning to get so hot out? I didn't have time to swear at them. The clinic was this way. Hoisting Satoko on my back, I broke into a trot.
So where is Teppei?
The hilly road to the clinic, with which I had never had difficulties before, was now torturous. Big beads of sweat formed on my brow, and at some point my breath had grown faint. The hatchet in my belt was heavy and made it hard to walk. I considered leaving it, but I couldn't let it go, at least not while Satoko's uncle was still breathing. The signboard for the Erie clinic came into sight. I quickly noticed something was odd, so I stopped. Several red revolving lights were flashing at the clinic. 3 police cars were parked in the parking lot with their lights on. There didn't need to be much else to inform me something had happened. I didn't want to see Coach, so I had planned to leave Satoko in the clinic waiting room and give the receptionist a message. But with that police officer Oishi here, I couldn't go inside so carelessly.
What's going on? Why are there so many police cars? Maybe they did find...
Also, right now, who gives a flying fuck? Walk in there, get her help. Like, does it matter if Oishi is there? Does it? All you need is somebody to look after her, because this is not good.
But yeah, that is the million-dollar question indeed. But something or someone was probably brought in now.
I gently put Satoko down in the shade of a thicket. I don't know. I'll go see what happens, so you stay here for a moment.
Take her along! Leaving a lady in a place like this, wearing nothing but a bath towel? Simply unforgivable.
If you can still fire those insults, you'll be fine.
Take her in as well! Oh my god.
I'll be right back, I added, getting to my feet. Cautious of my surroundings, I hid myself behind a car and got closer to the officers grouped at the clinic's entrance. I overheard an officer wearing a necktie, probably their leader, and a white-robed doctor having a discussion about something. The doctor didn't seem to be Coach. It was one of those who Coach told to make the tea yesterday.
So you were the first one to find it since you were on morning duty? So then, what did it look like?
I was sitting on the sofa in the head office. He looked like he was taking a nap.
Let me guess, Iri is dead? There was a jug and an empty bottle of sleep medication on his desk, so you immediately thought he had tried to commit suicide with it? What else?
His high temperature and dilated pupils indicated a severe disturbance of consciousness. It seemed like a typical case of sleeping pill poisoning, so I immediately began to treat him.
Without calling the police or an ambulance? You're in a hospital.
I'm literally a doctor and this is literally a hospital, so yes, I start the treatment first.
I am the ambulance.
So I understand you're the police and you want to get to the bottom of this, and kudos to you, that's good. But repeat the question and say it out loud to yourself. This is a hospital and I am a doctor. Since his life was in danger, it's my job to treat him at once.
Yes, I understand. Okay, what else?
His breathing was in disarray, so I put him on a respirator. I also administered breathing stimulants. They had no effect, so I prepared a medical ventilator and...
Right. So in other words, you did what you could, but it wasn't enough. That's it, right? You reported this as soon as he died?
Yes. It was very unfortunate that we were unable to save him. Just when a radio in one of a police cars started to buzz, producing a broken mechanical voice. This is HQ. This is HQ. Komiyama-san, can you hear me? Over.
Hello? This is Komiyama. We've come up with something. Looks like he committed suicide with sleeping pills. No notes or anything.
Suicide? What the heck were they talking about? Someone had committed suicide at the clinic.
It has to be Irie.
But who? I wish Takano-san dead and she died the next day. And yesterday I wished Coach was dead. Then could he have...
Did he use sleeping medication regularly?
I don't really know.
Did he normally complain that he was tired or wanted to die?
Well, Irie-sensei was normally so, well, himself. He never acted like that. Dun dun dun. I love that question, by the way. Did he complain about wanting to kill himself? Unfortunately, as far as I'm aware, a lot of people that do take their own life don't go around broadcasting that. Which makes it harder to detect people wanting to go through with something like that.
Not broadcasting, but he could have had several things or said several things which could have been a sign. Or where now you go like, oh, it makes sense.
Yes, could have. But a lot of people that suffer from suicidal depression, for example, don't necessarily do anything like that. Think of the lead singer back then of Linkin Park. There's a picture of him, I think it is either the same day or the day before, where he is out with friends and family, I think, and he seems super happy. The next day, he killed himself. People didn't see it coming. Like, it's not that easy, necessarily. I'm not saying not...
Yeah, but he has said several things where it was known that he had a depression. Like, that was not a secret. With Irie-san, they don't know, the police doesn't know, they have to ask. Like, it makes sense.
Fair enough. But also...
They do not know him, remember?
Yeah, I get it. But at the same time, with somebody who seemingly randomly commits suicide by sleeping pills, wouldn't you also consider that somebody mixed it into like his drink or whatever? Because didn't they just go with...
That's why he's asking these questions.
Yes.
Yeah, but you sound shocked that he's asking it, but you know, they need to rule out whether it's a suicide or a murder. And it helps to know if someone is suicidal.
I'm not going to apologize for thinking ahead, Tifa. There was a jug and an empty bottle of sleep medication. So a jug of what is my question?
Jug of water.
Yeah, a jug of water. Dreams that you wish will come true. Yeah, in the worst way possible.
Why do all of them come true except for Teppei so far?
I think those are just really stupid coincidences, actually. I do not think this Keiichi has the magical power to wish death upon people.
Don't think this game does coincidence.
So, I was right. Irie-sensei, they were talking about Coach. Coach killed himself. Why would he do that? There couldn't have been any reason he wanted to die. The only reason that came to mind was that I wanted him dead.
And then it's the father. The owner of the clinic.
This world was insane. If I wanted someone dead, they'd die. That was the kind of world this was. Then what about Ooishi? What happened to him? If people really died because I wanted them to, then something should have happened to him too. Okay, but consider the following. Teppei is allegedly still alive. So clearly you don't have magical powers, Keiichi.
Teppei is immune.
Curse proof. You know, in like RPGs, when they go like, oh yeah, you have skills to like put your enemies to sleep or poison them or paralyze them or make them fear or turn them to stone.
Teppei has mastered counter.
Yeah, but like when you play through the game and every now and you probably never use them because when you try using them on a boss monster, they never work because they're always immune to everything. It only really works on just like random encounters. Teppei is the boss monster. Fuck, that's so annoying in JRPGs. Yes, which is why it's so good when you play one of those where actually the bosses specifically have weaknesses to those. You know, flipping that stupid thing on the head. It's like, yeah, no, you can make this fight much easier if you actually try to use them. Because normally you wouldn't.
I'll send you back up. The chief wants you to leave the rest of them and get back to searching for Oishi's car.
Searching for Oishi's car? Oishi is missing too.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Please excuse me then. It looks like we're getting relieved here, so please leave everything as it is right now. Alright, let's go.
The officers nodded and split up into the patrol cars. Did they just say searching for Oishi's car? Searching for his car. That meant he had gone missing? Takano-san, Coach, and Oishi. When I wished for it, the very next day, they disappeared. No matter how angry you were when you said you wished someone was dead, it didn't normally happen. Everyone knew just wishing for it wouldn't make them dead, and that's why people could utter such curses so lightly. But the curses I uttered were being granted. At the time, I hadn't even been walking, and yet I heard a footstep. And it wasn't only one this time. They came from behind. And they stood right behind me, reaching a hand for my shoulder. Satoko.
Would you mind telling me what's going on?
Gee, I wonder what would happen if I leave this person in a really bad state over there, like on the ground. Like, come on, please, dude.
Yeah, I don't really get why we haven't just brought her along.
He's the Rasputin. You have to be sure to get slow on him early. Imagine if you could. Ah! Satoko? Don't scare me like that.
I'm the scared one here. I'd prefer it if you didn't shout so suddenly.
It was Satoko. Her eyes were still unstable, unfocused, but she seemed able to at least walk on her own now. She looked far better now compared to her earlier exhausted state. Yes, because she's not currently being boiled alive, Keiichi.
Yeah, it turns out dumping her in a bush was a well thought out idea. No,
it fixed her.
It was, because she's feeling much better already.
You know how back in the old days people would like grab herbs and stuff and for just like make medicine, like home remedies? Apparently, there's this wonderful bush that only grows in Hinamizawa that treats being overheated badly. So if you just throw a person onto it, I know he described in detail that he like hoisted her over his shoulder and then carried her there.
On her back.
On
you
his,
know, a piggy bank.
Over his back.
Yeah, a piggy bank.
No?
Yes.
No?
He didn't carry her like a sack of potatoes. It was a piggyback ride.
Okay, clearly I'm confused. Which leads to what I was trying to say. Do you remember Ocarina of Time? The third dungeon you have to go to?
No.
With the princess? Princess Ruto. Who you have to carry around because she doesn't walk.
Sure.
You disgust me. For everybody else, I was... literally everybody else. Everyone that is not Tifa right now.
How long has Princess replayed that?
For any one of the, I don't know, billion of people that has played or knows about Ocarina of Time. Jabu Jabu's belly. No, Jack Keiichi did not carry Satoko over his head. Yes, he did.
And where they just go...
Yeah, but... Yes. Yes, exactly. Why not?
Well,
At least he didn't put in a bottle like the Deku Princess. She's too big for that. He tried though.
you just didn't try hard enough.
You can put people into bottles if you try hard enough.
They got entire ships in there.
Splendid logic, Diva. Beautiful. Yeah. Imagine not being able to put a person into a jar when you can put entire ships in there. Like, come on. Use your brains, people.
Yeah.
Big Jar just doesn't want you to know that you can travel so cheaply. Just get into a bottle and have somebody throw you into the ocean. There, free vacation.
Yeah, it's like a diving experience.
If I were to travel by message in a bottle, I swear, I get into the bottle, somebody yeets me into the ocean. On the way, I already get like salto flipped, so I already start puking into the bottle, so over myself. And then I get eaten by a whale.
Sounds about right, but you pay extra for that.
And then I spend a week inside the bottle going through the intestines of a whale only to be shed out on the other end. No. And so eventually I end up like on the coast of Ireland covered in broken glass and whale poop. Thank you, Tifa. Thank you for the mental image.
That does seem like an interesting journey.
Satoko is like a ship in a bottle if you think about it. If you think about it hard enough, yes. How do you feel? Are you better?
My head still hurts. But I can't stay outside looking like this forever.
I mean, you can, but society generally frowns upon it.
Fine, then give me the towel.
She gave a smile, a show of courage, but her legs were still shaky.
Anyway, what on earth is going on? From what I just heard the police talking about.
Coach apparently committed suicide.
Maybe not tell her right now.
Satoko was at a loss for words. Her face grew paler and paler, and I could tell she was doubting her own ears.
But especially knowing that she's close to the coach,
Yeah.
you can go, someone committed suicide maybe, and then go like, okay, let's go in, and then maybe come with details after she's in a bed, taken care of, you know?
Yeah. It is, like, it's not nice, but it is a commonly used practice to lie to patients if that can improve the outcome of a treatment. Like, it's not nice, but you know, you've kind of been like boiled for like an hour or so. We should look into that first, and then you can worry about your friend having died. Because, I mean, it's sad, but he's still dead after your treatment. You know?
Keiichi-san, is that true? I didn't mishear you?
That's what I heard. They said Irie-sensei killed himself with sleeping pills. Keiichi is the worst friend. Satoko went down on her knees and broke out into tears.
It can't be. Coach, he would never, ever kill himself.
As I watched Satoko crying and clawing at the grass, I felt myself trapped by the guilt and remorse. I got so angry that Coach was treating me like a madman yesterday, that he'd betrayed me, that I'd thought he'd be better off dead. But even Coach, who, to me, deserved to die, still must have had people who loved and respected him. Like Satoko here. In my selfish, egotistical anger, I wished for his death and it was granted. And now Satoko was crying hysterically as a result. The guilt tore at my heart. I worked myself up to murder for Satoko's sake. I decided I wanted Satoko to be happy, but was that really all it took? Murder meant taking someone's life. It meant making everyone attached to that person sad. In Satoko's uncle's case, of course, nobody would be sad. So I didn't feel any sense of guilt at all. But Coach's death was different. I had wanted to make Satoko happy. And That had resulted in me inflicting a deep sadness upon her, hadn't it? But Coach killed himself. It wasn't my... And it's also illegal. Yes.
Small detail.
Satoko still hadn't stopped crying, but she seemed to be a little calmer now. Wiping her tears, she stood up. I'm sorry. The only thing I could think of to say to her was an apology.
Why are you apologizing?
Well, yesterday I got into a fight with Coach, and I thought that I wanted him to die. I wanted it so he really... Satoko looked at me dubiously for a few moments. Eventually her expression softened as she interpreted my words in her own way.
It isn't your fault, Keiichi-san. Coach was an adult too. He felt like there was something he had to give his life for, and chose to do so after a lot of worrying and suffering. It's not anyone's fault.
That's awfully deep. For an 8-year-old.
Yeah. Keiichi, why did you think this would help? Yeah.
He's letting out his own emotions as well, but now is not really the time.
How about we get her in the hospital?
He doesn't think. I would say he does think, but not the way anybody else would. Because this Keiichi also believes he can just think people dead. So...
Well, he's just talking without a filter right now.
Yeah, and he's clearly unhinged, so, you know. She smiled a little, trying to comfort me.
I do not want to be like this forever. I want some clothes.
Are you okay? Shouldn't you get someone at the clinic too?
I won't die from putting on clothes before going.
Satoko readjusted her bath towel and started back along the path. Her stride was wobbly and it didn't look like she'd recovered as much as she let on. At first Satoko tried to go back home, but it was the time of the morning when people were going to school and to work, so after seeing people walking around she thought better of it. She must have been pretty embarrassed wearing only the towel.
I'm going to Rika's house. My clothes should be there. What's wrong? Keiichi-san?
Satoko noticed how I was hanging my head and spoke to me.
Despite how he might have come off, Coach was an adult, alright? He would certainly not have killed himself after a petty fight with you, Keiichi-san. Please stop blaming yourself.
She has a point, kind of. I mean...
Yeah, but if everyone you've cursed dies, you see it in that way.
No, but like also at the same time, we don't know why he did it. It might be that that was what made him do it.
Yeah, but we're not doing the logical thinking.
Yeah. At first I thought it was a coincidence, but with 3 people now, I couldn't discard the possibility. There was no such thing as impossible in this world. These past few days haven't made any sense.
What hasn't?
Satoko seemed to be having trouble breathing, but she still tried to listen to what I had to say. At the Watanagashi festival the day before last, you went home on the way there, right? And I went there and had a lot of fun.
So it would seem. I do apologize for getting so upset with you about it.
Satoko remembered how she blew up at me in the classroom yesterday and bowed to me a little. If I said I actually didn't go to the festival at all, would you believe me? Satoko looked at me confused. She couldn't help it, of course.
Of course I wouldn't believe you. What are you on about?
You wouldn't, right? I don't believe it either. I mean, I didn't go to the festival, but everyone's saying I hung out with them there. Nobody would believe it, right?
Are you being serious?
Yeah. Ever Ever since the night of Watanagashi, everything's been messed up. These weird footsteps suddenly started following me everywhere. The blood drained from Satoko's expression.
Footsteps following you?
Yeah. I thought it was just my imagination at first, but they stayed with me. They're probably still there. I can't tell them apart now because of your footsteps, well. That's the most logical thing Keiichi has said in a long time. Satoko took a long and hard look at me. Maybe she was doubting my sanity. Coach did the same thing. I mean, why wouldn't he after telling him this? The more I thought about it, the more I was unable to endure the feeling that my hatred for Coach had been meaningless. On the day of Watanagashi, I didn't go. I was doing something else. The whole time. I wasn't sleeping or unconscious or anything. So it's not possible that I walked to a festival half asleep and forgot about it afterwards.
That is quite strange. Then how were you at the festival?
That's what I mean. I didn't go to the festival. No. I can't let myself get emotional. If I get agitated now, that would be like proving that there's something wrong with my head. Sorry. Well, nobody believes me, so yeah.
If that is what you say, Keiichi-san, then I will believe you. Then what?
That night, I saw Takano-san, and it felt like she was looking down on me. So I made a wish. A wish that she would die.
Takano-san does have that sort of air about her, doesn't she? I cannot say that I don't understand how you feel.
Did you know that Takano-san died? It happened yesterday. Apparently she was burned alive somewhere.
Resting bitch aura. Yeah.
Yes, I've never heard that expression before, but that needs to be a shirt. Or a tattoo.
You can tattoo it on your forehead.
Is that true?
On your chest. Resting bitch aura.
Nah. That would be, if you're into that would be a really cool tattoo like on your throat. Resting bitch aura.
Go for it.
She died?
I wished for her to die, and the next day she was dead. And Ooishi from the police too. Do you know him? That annoying and fat detective guy. Satoko nodded a little. I heard from the police earlier, but apparently he went missing. And yesterday actually I wished that he would die.
Is all this true?
I'm not lying. I don't want to believe it either, but it's true. Takano-san, Coach, and Ooishi, I wanted them dead, and then they really died. For a little while, Satoko was at a loss. A long silence ensued.
What a scary story. I should be sure not to get on your bad side, Keiichi-san.
And that's not all. There's something even stranger. It's about your uncle. Don't tell her.
He's gonna tell her.
I would rather you not talk about my uncle.
He was there yesterday, right? At your house?
Could we please stop talking about him? I don't want to.
It's impossible. He couldn't have been there.
I said stop talking about him. No! No!
That man couldn't have been there after the night of Watanagashi. Because I...
No! No more! Please, no more about that man.
I killed him. With my own hands. And the award for the stupidest main character in a visual novel goes to Keiichi Maebara, Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 3, Tatarigoroshi,
Well,
episode
he's trying
12.
to make sense of it himself as well, which I understand.
It's still Sigma.
But maybe
Yeah.
Satoko is the wrong person.
Close con. Yeah. No. There's this term oversharing when you share too much or you feel like you share too much.
I don't know what that feels like.
I feel like I only have two modes. Either I don't let people in at all, or I don't say much, or I completely overshare. So, you know, whatever. But if there ever has been a prime example of oversharing, it's this conversation between Keiichi and Satoko. It's double trauma dumping. Yeah, like...
But the fact that he's letting all of this out in this moment, it makes sense though.
Like, hey, Keiichi, nobody asked. You know? It's like, listen, do I get that 15-year-old Keiichi Maebara is going through an impossible situation for anybody, but infinitely more difficult to handle or to process for a 15-year-old who knows nothing about life? Yes, 100%. Yes, I get that. But she is 8 or 10 or whatever.
That doesn't matter, she's still your friend. He's not thinking rational, he's confused, weird things are happening. Like from an outside perspective, it's really annoying and it's like, oh, why are you doing this? Why? But if you actually stop and think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah, what else is he gonna do?
Like I fully...
Talk to his parents?
I fully get it, but as an outsider, like I said, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Because it's stupid, it's not rational. Why would you do this?
And in this chapter, Satoko is like the closest person to him, so who else to tell than her, right? Makes sense. Don't call me out like that. I feel like oversharing, the way it's used around the internet, is not something that exists. I find, or in my experience, when you open up and you tell people things that make you vulnerable to some degree, that also makes it more possible for them to be vulnerable with you. So you actually get to know the person behind the face we put on in public.
I'll remember that when I talk about
No, you are
things
definitely
in too many details and you're like, I don't want to hear that. Stop it.
That's not oversharing, that's basically abuse. Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, no, definitely. There are some people that that happens sometimes on streams. Like somebody that you've never met before comes in and goes like, my dog just died. And I'm thinking, okay, that's sad. I'm sorry. I understand that you want to talk about with somebody, but like we're playing like Mario Kart right now. Nobody here knows you.
Yeah, but especially on Twitch, you have people that try to find people to share their sorrow with.
Yeah. How do I say this? There's a time and place for everything. You know? If there's like a deep emotional moment, then that calls for something like that more. Services or Wendy's. That's what I'm talking about. That kind of energy. Yes, exactly.
No, but I think this, now that you started it, I feel like we should finish this. Like, I do not mind if someone talks in chat about something that has happened to them. Something sad
same.
can happen. If anything sad happens to you guys and we ask, hey, how it's going, feel free to share. But I feel like there's a difference in someone you know telling you something awful has happened to them that specific day. And someone who you do not know at all immediately comes in first thing and goes like, hey, my grandma just died of cancer. I feel like there's a difference there.
Yes, but that's also literally what I said. Like, imagine you're sitting here playing Mario Kart, somebody comes in, my dog just got hit by a car.
Yeah, but the difference is just knowing someone, because if one of you guys would come in at that moment. That feels very different from a complete stranger. The first thing he ever says is, my dog just died.
Right now I cannot tell if you agree with what I was starting with, because that's...
Yeah, but I feel like that difference is important.
Yeah, that's why I said that.
No, you didn't say the difference.
I thought I set it up like this. So
That's
we're
why
in agreement.
Yes, we are.
Takes a lot of time to notice this on yourself. I don't think some... I think some people are just wired the way that they do that, not out of like... Not for any like bad reason. They just don't know better. They have something on their mind and then they need to tell everybody in the world. At the same time, being on the receiving end when something like that happens is like... So, I've never met you. This is a situation that's completely detached from the thing you're describing. What could you possibly want from me?
Well, that's the hard thing.
I can express that I'm sorry for your situation. Other than that, it's like... Anyway. Keiichi dropped the bomb.
Cicadas crying.
Even the cicadas stopped crying. Her face was streaked with tears, and it stiffened even more as she looked at me in disbelief. On the night of the Watanagashi festival, I killed your uncle, so it's impossible that he could have gone back home. But still, he went back. And last night he found fault with the dinner you made him, yelled all sorts of things at you, and then basically boiled you in the bathtub. That couldn't possibly have happened. So I wanted to make sure I'd actually killed him, so yesterday I went to dig up the corpse I buried. But the body wasn't there. Is that even possible? I killed him for sure, but there was no body. And he went home like nothing happened, home to you, and that wasn't supposed to happen, was it? Satoko's entire body stiffened. She was shrinking away like there was someone in front of her about to hurt her. You probably think I've gone a little crazy, don't you? I don't blame you. I can't believe it myself.
Okay. Keiichi-san, I think you are very confused after all the people you wished were dead coincidentally died. You're just in shock at Coach's suicide and you're really upset. I think you should stay home from school today and rest.
A little?
A little much. I'll be fine, so please take care of yourself.
Satoko spoke like she understood me, but she also told me to go home. I could see the revulsion in her face and knew that she didn't want to be around me anymore. Once I show you to the clinic, I'll go home. Your legs are still shaking, aren't they? It would be terrible if you collapsed halfway there.
Really, I'm fine now. I do not want to keep exposing myself to a man any more than this.
She wobbled up the shrine steps, looking like she was about to fall. I immediately ran up to her and helped her to stay on her feet. But then Satoko promptly jumped away from me. That outright rejection hurt a lot. Once she got to the top of the stairs, her breathing was ragged and she wasn't even looking at me. At this point, I was being ignored. It was more like she didn't want to have anything to do with me. It really was a feeling of rejection. That hurt my heart more than any blade could have. This was the path I chose for her sake. To be treated like this at the end of it all was just so saddening. Don't be naive, Keiichi Maebara. You never wanted to be repaid in the first place. You didn't do it so that Satoko would thank you. You did it so Satoko would be happy. And that was what led to this ending. That could also be why Satoshi left.
Don't think so.
Why?
Because she doesn't know he killed the aunt. If he even did.
What if she does?
I somehow doubt it. And obviously she doesn't hate him. So there was no reason for him to leave.
You can miss somebody and still have conflicting feelings.
Would feel differently.
Rika-chan's house was a disaster prevention storehouse used by the town council. If you went past it a little further through the shrine grounds, you'd apparently reach the back of the assembly hall. Satoko was heading there, walking quickly, the gravel under her feet crunching as she went. Did she want to get there as soon as possible? Or did she want to run away? I couldn't tell. Then I heard the vigorous sound of wings flapping. I turned around and saw a crow. I hadn't seen many crows since coming to Hinamizawa. I saw them a lot in my old town though. On garbage day they'd flock to trash collection points, peck through the bags with their beaks, drag out the contents and have a feast. As I was remembering that, I saw a few crows flocking around the shrine's donation box. And I thought how terrible it was for someone to leave a garbage bag in a place like that. Oh! Do you think there's a body there?
Could be Oishi.
The cicadas quieted. Breathing stopped. Thoughts ceased. Even time came to a halt. I ran over to where the crows were flocking. I ran there in order to drive a horrible idea out of my mind. I definitely hadn't wanted this. There was no way I would ever wish for this, even by mistake. This was not. When they noticed my vicious approach, the crows all flapped upwards, fleeing into the sky. When the crows' big black bodies flew away, they exposed the garbage bag.
When the fuck did this happen? Also, she looks older in this shot.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that coming.
She didn't die in the previous chapters, has she?
Yes, she has.
Oh, true, in chapter 2, I think. She was killed in the underground tunnels. Or one of the bodies found at the bottom of the well. But who killed her now?
I don't know. In a way, this shot is horrible, but it's also beautiful. I don't know how to describe it.
Sort of.
Like, I don't like it, but...
Even though it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Also, we didn't need to see her eyes, but I feel like the bloody tears are an important detail.
Yeah, that's what doesn't really make any sense.
Because to me, that screams poison. The only reason somebody ever cries tears is either something has been done to them, or...
I cry tears all the time, though. Yeah, cry blood.
Yeah.
I know what you're trying to say, but...
My brain was doing overtime. Sorry.
So you can only cry tears when something has been done to you.
The only reason why somebody would cry bloody tears is if you have a really bad infection of like the tear ducts. I think there's like one like syndrome or something you can have that causes that to be chronic. One of the bad guys in one of the Bond movies had that.
I doubt she hasn't.
Or poison or something.
Well, the question is she actually crying blood? Are they trying to be like poetic? Because we know the images or the pictures shown aren't always very realistic or the way things might be.
She made you cry 99 tears. Or if you're Le Chiffre. That's the one I was thinking of. Or you're a specific species of lizard.
This might play into the lizard theory.
Definitely.
And she is from a big family. A powerful family.
Just like the lizard people running the world.
Well, that's where the lizard people want to be, yes.
Yes. But why would they ever leave their caves in the hollow earth?
Why they walk among us?
Sus. Somebody out there listens to this. I knew it! I knew it! I told you!
Okay, but I didn't think this would continue with Rika's death.
Add a command. With sus. Copy that, please. We can do that. Definitely. It's weird that that didn't happen yet.
What, Rika dying?
No, the sus command. You can hear Keiichi scream. Yeah, I was thinking, is this like a cry or like a scream? Waiting for Tifa to get done.
You get it.
It's very sweet of you to like give it like proper formatting and stuff, but that's completely unnecessary.
I know, that's why I just... I think it was a bit louder.
It was a choked trying to scream, but also not. You can press for audio and vlogs. True.
Yeah, the neighbors won't appreciate that though.
I was pretty close at the beginning. What had I seen there? The scream had escaped from my throat before I understood what I was looking at. What was this? Satoko came over as well, realizing something had happened. And she looked over my shoulder, then she screamed as well. This wasn't... The garbage bag was crimson, dyed in fresh blood. Enough of a stupid roundabout way of saying it. That's right, yes. It was Rika-chan. Our friend, Satoko's best friend. Always easygoing, clever as a cat, but so cute you couldn't hate her. Our friend, Rika-chan, Rika-chan was stark naked. She was face up, limbs sprawled. Her eyes were like glass, just staring up into the sky. And
Rika!
Satoko broke down crying on the spot. And yet she still couldn't approach her friend's remains. The crows had gotten through the garbage bag and dragged out an apple peel and spread it all over. No, crows, they couldn't do this. What? On the spot, I started vomiting. The sour taste became a bitter one as I threw up over and over again. Rika-chan, her stomach was cut wide open, vertically, completely open.
Rika! During the Watanagashi, don't they eat...
Yes. Exactly this.
Okay.
Crows couldn't have done this. And from her open stomach, her organs, her bowels were dragged out like children's toys left all over the floor. That unbelievable sight induced oxygen deprivation in my brain. Color left my vision, a pounding headache, dizzy, and I wanted to vomit. It was like the nightmarish remains of a ceremonial killing. Someone somewhere had killed Rika-chan, brought her here, laid her here with her limbs sprawled out, and then cut open her stomach and dragged out her intestines. Red and pink viscera were sticking out of her gut, and her intestines were scattered in every every direction like it had been for fun. The entire ground was covered in an ocean of red and black. A few of the crows had hopped around inside that ocean. They walked through the sea of blood, leaving bloody footprints. And those footprints, there were several still left on Rika-chan's body. Those sinister prints made it seem even more like a bizarre ritual killing. I may have wished for Takano-san and Coach and ooishi to die, but I didn't remember ever wishing for Rika-chan's death. Yeah, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I stumbled backwards and stepped on a newspaper. A newspaper? In a place like this? The newspaper was what was covering my hatchet. I had kept it wrapped up and on my belt in order to carry Satoko. And that newspaper had fallen off. Sheesh, don't scare me like that. I bent down to pick it up, and then Satoko looked at me with such disbelief as I'd never seen and froze. She was looking straight at me. At the hatchet on my belt. Calm down, Satoko. This isn't what it looks like. Satoko, trembling madly, backed away. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't... did the asshat kill someone he never wanted to? Welcome in, Mommy. Happy Sunday.
Well, good question. We just found Rika dead with her stomach cut open.
Takano is dead, burned. Irie apparently committed suicide by sleeping pills. Ooishi is missing, also presumed to be dead. And now we just found the disemboweled dead body of Rika-chan.
And I know this looks bad. Like this is horrible time. And we just confessed to trying to murder her uncle. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's like the 1 + 1 + 1.
Is 3. Quick math. We all switcheroo. Yeah. She didn't care at all that she was exposing herself through the towel. She just trembled and tried to step back from the demon in front of her. Satoko, please, calm down. Please, relax. Satoko?
No! I'm not gonna go any louder, so.
No, but you have to go again because there's more than one no.
It was a long one.
Screaming weakly, Satoko began to run unsteadily. Run away, that is. Wait, please wait, Satoko! You're wrong! That's not it! The way she ran away, it was so weak, so slow. So if I wanted to go after her, I could have caught up. But if I tried to grab Satoko's shoulder or something right now, she might actually go crazy. So I had to follow her and try to clear this up.
You killed Takano-san and Coach and ooishi-san, didn't you? You killed my uncle and then you killed Rika. You murderer!
No! It wasn't me! I didn't kill her!
What are you saying? You just said it yourself, did you not? You wanted them to die. And then everyone died, didn't they?
Well, no! Just wishing that we were dead, that couldn't...
You don't even remember what you did, do you? How can I trust a person like you? Didn't your memory of killing them just slip your mind? No, maybe you're the only one pretending not to remember. Besides, what is that hatchet for? Try explaining that.
In the anime, she takes some time to change into normal clothes.
Well, she was trying to.
Yes. It's for...
See? Keiichi-san, you are a killer, aren't you? Why did you do it? You were a little mean, but you were fun and kind, and once I even thought you might be my real Nini. Why did you turn into this?
It's your fault, Satoko. I might have been able to slowly answer each one of Satoko's questions at a time. But in this situation, explaining my innocence in such a short period of time was impossible. I mean, I didn't even know if I was really innocent anyway. At the very least, I killed Satoko's uncle. There was no body, but I killed him, without a doubt. At that point, I was far from innocent. And I wish Takano-san, Coach, and Ooishi were dead. And that curse of mine was granted. When I wished for Takano-san to die, I didn't think of it as anything more than a normal thing you'd say to someone you didn't like. But then she actually did die, and I realized that if I wanted people to die, they would. And hoping it would happen again, I cursed Coach and Ooishi to the same fate. So, even ignoring Takano-san's death, Coach and Ooishi were completely premeditated crimes. Was I a killer, just like Satoko said? Was I unable to distinguish between illusion and reality and turn into a demon without remembering it, becoming a killer who carried out Oyashiro-sama's curse? No, that couldn't be. It wasn't possible. Damn it! The very word impossible was impossible in Hinamizawa right now. How many freaking times have I said that word these past 3 days? Satoko had started crying again and was walking unsteadily. At first it felt like she was still running, but now it was like she was walking away crying from someone bullying her.
Why? Why did things turn out this way? Why?
Which one of us is going to die here in one of the traps?
That wasn't here, that was on a separate mountain.
How do you know?
Because we went on a hike back then and it was still like, oh, nobody comes here.
Yes, and we are just running/walking away unsteadily from the shrine grounds.
Yeah, which was not in the forest behind. It specifically said it was its own area. Yeah.
Good point.
They keep reusing
however,
the same pictures.
Get exposed, idiot.
You can't judge it by the background.
If there was an answer to that, then I wanted to know it too. Why? Why had it turned out like this?
After Mimi went away, I was lonely for a long time. But then Keiichi-san transferred to our school, and everyone was happy again. It was fun again. Every day was beautiful.
Yeah, she was right. Those days were bright and beautiful. And yet, after that, Satoko now shouted the exact same thing. How did it turn out like this? The cicadas were sneering at the spectacle of our strange game of tag. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up! Eventually I heard the murmuring of a stream. The forest parted and a suspension bridge appeared. Satoko was crossing dangerously, wobbling as though she might fall at any moment. And when I stepped onto the bridge, it swayed a lot, causing Satoko to stagger and fall on the spot. Satoko, are you okay?
Why does this bridge stagger?
Don't come near me! You murderer!
Satoko shouted, her hatred made very clear. It was sad. If words could cut, then this warmth flowing from my eyes would have been blood for sure.
Why? Why did it turn out this way?
Once again, but actually what you said?
Why did you turn out this way? Keiichi-san, I really liked you.
I wanted to go up to her and give her a hand, but the distance between us was uncrossable. If I got any closer, Satoko would start shouting again and say things that would hurt me deeply again. So I couldn't approach any closer than this. Satoko, I don't know how things turn out like this either. But I can say this. I wasn't the one who killed Rika-chan. At least that is true.
Please stop being so absurd. How do you expect me to believe anything someone who can't even rely on his own memories has to say?
I tightened my hands into fists. This was mortifying. I wasn't crazy. Hinamizawa was crazy ever since I wandered into it lost on that one night. This insane world where I was at the festival when I wasn't and the uncle killed was alive. Where death would come just by wishing for it. It was this world's fault. Mion and Reina started acting strangely, like they were possessed by something too, and Coach wouldn't believe anything I had to say. And even Satoko, who I should have protected, was yelling at me like this. Was the price for killing a man supposed to be this high? Was I really going to be forced to stay in such a bitter world? I did the right thing. At least I wanted to. So then, why? I hated it. Every time I asked why, the days Satoko and I enjoyed in peace went so wrong. Satoko, please believe me. I'm not a murderer.
And what is that hatchet for? Can you give me a convincing explanation for that?
Is this hatchet scaring you? Okay, I'll throw it away. That's what you want, right? Satoko didn't nod, but she seemed to be in agreement with that proposition. I clumsily took the hatchet out of my belt and dropped it over the side of a bridge into the stream below. There, it's gone. Now, you listen to me, right?
It's not murder if the guy is evil, then it's a public service.
It's still murder.
You think I'll let my guard down just because you get rid of your weapon? Keiichi-san, you're strong. It would be easy for you to strangle me with your bare hands.
Like hell I would ever want to kill Satoko. You idiot. Then what should I do? Should I put my hands on my head?
Yes, why don't you? Please put your hands on your head and face the other way.
It was a cunning plan, much like the ones she used during club activities. Putting my hands on my head and turning away would mean I couldn't attack Satoko very easily. I immediately acquiesced to her request since it would make her feel better. Is this alright? Please listen to what I have to say. Satoko stood up and carefully approached me from behind. And then she actually came up right behind me. She was so close, and yet I was so sad that I wasn't allowed to turn around.
I sort of think I understand that it isn't your fault, Keiichi-san.
Huh?
I think probably you have just been possessed by something evil.
There's those stupid sleigh bells again.
She's gonna push us off the edge.
Until before, I thought Keiichi-san was a killer, but now I know. After looking at your eyes.
I could hear that Satoko was still crying, but her voice was gentle just the same.
Keiichi-san could never kill anyone. Something simply possessed his body and made him do evil things.
If I recall correctly, those bells are used by Shinto priests. Yeah. Like in a ritual to like disperse evil spirits or something like that.
Oh.
But we also heard from earlier when he was getting ready to leave to murder the uncle again. So I was thinking maybe this is like trying to get rid of the evilness in Keiichi, but at the same time, the same sound effect was played when he went evil again earlier, so like...
I think we've heard them more times.
I'm confused. Was she speaking literally right now? Was she trying to admonish me? I couldn't tell.
Come to think of it, maybe they were possessed just like Keiichi-san. At the time, I was only thinking I would be killed, so I didn't think about it. But now I understand. That was the work of something evil that possessed you.
it was less like she was talking to me, and more like she was talking to herself, like she was confessing at my back. Yeah. I thought Keiichi-san was a killer, but now I know, after looking at your eyes, something possessed his body and made him do evil things. Maybe they were possessed just like Keiichi-san. Did she murder them, or is she talking about Satoshi?
She's talking about they and him, not her.
I understand, you know. It isn't like I haven't experienced it myself.
Satoko's voice started to become mixed with sobs. Her pained voice tore at my heart. But I didn't know what Satoko was talking about.
I climbed to the top of the ritual storehouse once. It was a few years ago.
So who did she kill? Once, when Satoko was playing hide and seek at the shrine grounds, she climbed onto the roof of a storehouse for ritual implements, which everyone said not to go near, and hid. Then Satoko saw that she could get in through a window meant for ventilation. For Satoko, the word curse was plenty scary, but she was more curious about what was inside the unknown storehouse. She removed the grating on the window, which was already hanging off, slid her small body into it and climbed down inside. It was too dark to see much, but after descending she realized just how high up she'd been. Despite the darkness, she could see a few things around her thanks to the faint light coming in from the air window. And to her disappointment, it was just a regular old storehouse. She tried to leave, but the door was locked up tight from the outside and it was made to not open from within. She would have to go back out through the ventilation window she'd come in from. But the window was high on the wall and there was no way she would be able to climb back up. Satoko desperately tried not to cry and racked her brain thinking of a way to get up there. There were a lot of birdcage-looking things hanging by chains from the ceiling. She took the hanging chains and strung them along the wall. If she climbed up the bundle of chains, she might be able to manage to climb up to the ventilation window. There was nothing else she could do, so she had to try. And try she did. It was dark and creepy and she didn't want to stay there forever. The more she thought about that, the more she panicked. She climbed the bundle of chains. Satoko could hear the clinks and clangs of everything creaking under her weight. And then, just as her hand reached the window, one of the metal fixtures she'd used to stick the chains on the wall flew off and the chains all began to pull loudly and furiously every which way. Spurred on by the sounds behind her, she managed to get back onto the roof from the window. Because of the weight of a flailing bundle of chains, the other fixtures broke. And then one of the big bird cages hanging from the ceiling fell to the floor with a huge noise. Under it was an image of Oyashiro-sama, his vessel, and the cage took off one of the arms and trapped some other implements beneath it. It didn't take very long for her to grow scared of what she'd done. The deafening noise could be heard from the rest of the shrine grounds. A few other children heard it and gathered around, and of course, Rika was one of them. Then Rika's father, the shrine priest, with an angry look, ran over. And then, as for what happened next, it was painful to remember. The only one who knew where Rika's parents kept the key to the ritual storehouse was Rika. So he scolded her, saying that this happened because Rika pulled a prank and hid me in there. He was very angry and menacing. Just looking at him was enough to frighten anyone. He exposed Rika's back, took a strangely shaped ritual cane or something, and struck her with it several times. Rika's words at the time?
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That pitiful voice, I still can't get it out of my head. I should have said it was me. I should have said so to save my best friend from that false accusation without being afraid of Rika's father's terrible temper. Rika gritted her teeth and cried at the crime she didn't remember doing. Ever since then, the world had been strange.
I know, I understand. This is Oyashiro-sama's curse. His judgment for messing up the ritual storehouse and forsaking my best friend.
Oyashiro-sama's curse?
My father and mother too. They vanished in that muddy stream. My mean aunt died too, but then Nini, who loved me more than anyone, ran away from home. And then Keiichi-san transferred in, and I thought I'd finally gotten my fun life back. But this time, Keiichi-san was possessed. And even Rika got killed. There's something I heard once. Oyashiro-sama, when he really curses someone, he doesn't kill them right away. He goes in order of your closest friends, and after killing them all, he kills that person last. So, Keiichi-san, the curse got you too. I'm sure that Reina and Mian-san will be cursed next. And then they'll kill and be killed. No more. No!
Why do I think Satoko is gonna try to break the curse by doing something really stupid?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Calm down, Satoko. There is no curse. Nobody's trying to torment you. When I turned around, I was thrust away with amazing force. Given my hands were awkwardly placed on my head, I couldn't take the fall and lost my balance. And I'd been pushed not into the bridge, but to the side. Towards the stream. No, this can't be happening. Ah! As one last miracle, I was allowed to grab a cord hanging from the bridge. Far below me was the stream. We were pretty high up, and below were rocks of all sizes. If I fell, it clearly wouldn't be pretty. The entire bridge was tilting under my body weight. My frail little grip probably wouldn't last another minute before my fingers had to let go. Satoko! Satoko! I didn't understand myself what I meant by shouting her name then. Was I asking her to save me? Or was I asking her why she did this? Finally, everything came back into focus, and I saw Satoko, and I was surprised at what an odd expression she had. It was the first time I'd seen it. It was an expression of righteous anger meant only for those who needed to die. It's gonna be the eyes, yeah.
Die, you murderer! Give him back! Give back my Nini! Give back Rika and Mommy! And Keiichi-san!
As she screamed, she jerked the bridge to and fro. She didn't have to do that. I was going to fall anyway.
I won't lose to the likes of you. I won't lose to some stupid curse. I will never ever lose to you. You took everyone. I will never lose to you, not ever.
Satoko, please just let me say one thing. I don't know what my face looked like at the time. But it seemed like it was enough to quell Satoko's agitation. I know that what I did isn't exactly praiseworthy. No, in fact, maybe I should never have done it at all. But I did it because I wanted you to be happy. Please, just believe that.
You.
Nice way of blaming her.
At the very, very end, you're still pretending to be Keiichi-san.
Satoko didn't seem to have any more desire to listen to what I had to say. And for that to happen at the very end like this was tragic. I didn't do any of it so you would praise me. If it made you happy, that was all that mattered. We were nothing. Without your smile, we were nothing. So after I disappear, please, smile. If you can get on with your new life by my dying, then please, just smile. Can't you at least promise me that?
Stop speaking! Don't use Keiichi-san's mouth like that! Fall down! Die!
And those were the last words Satoko ever said to me. Those sad, tragic, and altogether unrewarding words. What on earth was I? My desire to make Satoko happy ended up like this. Where did I first go wrong? And what was the mistake I made? When did I make it? Was I the crazy one? Or was it Hinamizawa? Even after all of this, I thought I wasn't crazy at all. It was this eerie world that was crazy, this world I accidentally wandered into that one night. Because that fun world where I never doubted all the crazy times Red as a Club would go on forever, it couldn't possibly have transformed into such an abnormal world. That fun world wouldn't have ever ended with this, with Satoko pushing me to my death. In the end, I was going to be swallowed up by this crazy world and disappear. No, I'd probably already disappeared. Yes, probably. On the night of Watanagashi. I'm sure that in the world I really belonged to, I had vanished that night and everyone was worried. It was laughable that I had taken this long to figure out I wasn't around anymore. Oyashiro-sama's cursed on the 5th year was Satoko's uncle dying and me disappearing. In the real world, Satoko had already been freed. Maybe my friends were all lamenting my disappearance and valiantly trying to get back on their feet. And even though they were down to 4 people, the club would reopen and they would have a good time without me. Waiting for the day when I would come back. I'm sorry, everyone. I couldn't come back home. But this is what I wished for. It was my wish for Satoko's smile and my duty as her nini. At this point, there will be nobody left to torture you. Because Satoshi and I, it took 2 years, but we succeeded. That annoying toothy smile of yours, we wanted to see it one more time.
That didn't feel like falling into a river.
Do you think it's almost done or does it only just start?
Seeing how you never know.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking if that fall killed him, there wouldn't be another line.
Same.
I forgot to double
And
save.
it's too... It was too short, I think, for it to be the end of the chapter. Don't forget, we already started this chapter. This stream.
Yeah, but not all chapters are the same length. We made the same mistake thinking that at the very beginning of the game.
No,
Where
that's
we
true.
would do like one chapter every stream and then eventually it would go like, huh, this takes longer.
That is very true as well. But okay. Not surprising that Satoko tried to kill us on the bridge.
Yeah, understandable actually. I mean, I'm sorry if you came up to me and you're like, hey, all of these people who I don't like and that I had fights with, they just ended up dead. And oh, by the way, I just found one of our best friends over there dead, eviscerated. Oh, and I have a hatchet with me.
Our murder confession came too soon.
Plus telling her, yeah, but BT dubs, I killed your uncle.
That's not plus. It's because we said those things that she now thought we did it. If we didn't say that, even if we had carried the axe, I'm pretty sure we would have been fine.
The world will never know.
That's for another world, I guess.
But wait. So, first chapter, it was I guess Reina that snapped. Because she was one that came after us with a big hatchet. Chapter 2 was the focus on Mion, and now chapter 3 is the focus on Satoko. I'm guessing chapter 4 the focus is gonna be Rika.
Makes sense, yeah.
What are we gonna get for the 4 answer arcs?
I still think we're somehow gonna get through it again.
Do you think the answer arcs are gonna be retreads of the first 4 chapters, just like from a different angle or whatever?
Probably. Or 10 minutes explaining, yeah, this is what happened.
You'll get answers. I hope by the time we get there, the answers will be to questions I remember having. And not answers to questions I didn't even know I was supposed to have. Does it make sense?
Yes, both do. And that I even remembered what happened in chapter 1 without the events of the other chapters bleeding into it. Because that's already happening.
Well, chapter 1 ended with us getting poisoned with a super special drug by Crazy Reina and Mion as they were waiting for the director.
Yeah, I remember like
was.
the ends, but not all the details in between that might have mattered.
Yeah, same.
But we'll see. For now, it looks like we survived the fall, so let's focus on that. And then see what actually happens.
I kind of expected... I mean, the chapter isn't over yet. Satoko could have fallen too. Because it's a really unsteady suspension bridge.
That's too. Maybe she'll do it on purpose. We survived.
And I mean, we were
she
hanging
jumps
onto
after.
one of the ropes somehow. And like, if you're struggling to not fall to your death on a suspension bridge, I would imagine that creates some movement.
Yeah, but she's holding on. She was even swinging the bridge to make us fall.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she can keep that up forever. What if she trips?
Unlikely, but...
Where is all of this going? Like,
We're not gonna find out until another week from now, because Tuesday we're going to be back with Shenmue. I even said Shenmue.
Proud
Are you
of
ready?
you. Proud of you. Am I ready for what? For Shenmue? Always.
To not worry about what the answers are going to be for a week.
No.
Well, you'll have to.
That's the worst. When did we start playing Higurashi? I want to say March.
Could be. A couple months ago.
So I've been feeling this way for roughly 8 months. I want to say it took a little bit for it to kick in.
Well, then you should be used to it by now.
No. It's like when you have a headache, you've had headaches before and it's annoying, but you don't like it.
Well... We still have a whole chapter to go through.
This will take 2 years overall. Yes, I wasn't joking back then when I said, meet you at the end of the road in 2026.
If the answer arcs are the same length as the other ones, probably, yeah.
The only thing we know is that the 4th chapter is the shortest. That's also why it was the cheapest. Which doesn't mean much.
One chapter isn't much in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, chapter 3 is also the longest by far. Okay, fair enough.
Oh, then we're not done by one
Yeah,
chapter.
then it won't be 2 years. Then it will be 1.9.
Well, we'll see. I'm not really sure where this will end. And I feel like here there's the most amount of questions. Because in all of the other ones it felt like at least it was one world. Just one thing. And in this one it feels like 2 worlds have started bleeding into one.
Or all of them.
Or all of them. Which might have been, and I didn't notice because I don't recall all the details from chapter 1.
Also, what is the point of Irie?
What's the point of any character? If that's your question.
Yeah, what are the questions? Mostly why anything is happening the way it is. Because I don't
are
know.
those even the questions we need to ask?
I think in a sense, chapter 3 is the most, with the exception of the, whoops, where did the body go? So far, but that could still be answered with scientific approaches. But I want to say so far chapter 3 is the most down-to-earth one. Because chapter 1, your friend goes nuts, and then you get injected with a magical drug that makes you claw out your own throat. And there's this director that they talk about, and we never learned that. Okay, possible, but strange, I guess. We don't know why any of that is happening. Chapter 2, the girl you like has a cute twin sister. You don't know when one takes the place of the other. Also, they are in charge of a local Yakuza gang. They can do whatever they want, they have all the money, they like to kill people for fun, or at least one of them does. And you don't actually know which one you've been talking at any point to. You don't know which one you've been talking to at any point you had an interaction with one of them without both of them being on screen at the same time. And
Well,
all of this happened.
There, I feel like we need to figure out who did what.
And all of this potentially happened because you did not reciprocate the feelings of one of the sisters the way she wanted you to. So instead, she became a murderous fiend.
That's how it happened.
That's a mouthful. Chapter 3. A 15-year-old who doesn't know better witnesses the horrible abuse of one of his friends, and because the systems fail him, he decides to take matters into his own hands and becomes a murderer. Fucked up and horrible, but I can understand the logic behind that, you know what I mean? Like, you see bad things happening, you try to fix them, it doesn't work, so you do the wrong thing to try to solve the situation.
Well, there's been a little bit of logic in every chapter.
Yeah, but the whole Mion has a twin sister, and also one of them is like the queen of a Yakuza. It's like...
Oh wait, Shion hasn't been in this chapter at all,
Yes, she was.
Yeah?
Yes, it was alleged that she was like with Satoshi.
Oh yeah, true.
Women, am I right? You know it.
Fickle beings.
Damn bitches, right? Basically, all we know so far is, now it's gonna get really that part of your internet. Things always go wrong when Keiichi interacts with other people. So maybe complete isolation is the answer.
If everyone on the world isolates, we have world peace.
Yeah, but also no more people. Like, no, if everybody just stays in their own room, like a lockdown kind of, but everywhere, like a global one, it's like, no, that's not good either.
You can't have it all.
Yeah. What's the price of freedom? That's a deep question.
Well, the price of freedom is playing Shenmue on
What?
Tuesday.
Why are you so hateful? Like, I was so happy with you earlier being neutral about Shenmue, and now here you come again and you just piss on it all. Why are you like this? What's a game you really enjoy that we haven't streamed together yet?
How about Baldur's Gate?
A game only you enjoyed.
Well, I don't know yet. I will think about it. Are you ready to call it a night?
No.
Well, then I'll press the button for
Oh
you.
wow! I don't even matter anymore here. I'm just the guy that voices some of the characters apparently. Fine, press the button. Not even the... Wow, she doesn't even do the end of the stream.
I was waiting for you.
Thank you everybody for Higurashi. We'll see you back on Tuesday.